Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 3 of the 2021 UK Drift Championship, our pro competition, and we are here at Teesside Autodrome. Teesside, make some noise! That's better. That's better. We'll get there. We're going to warm them up. Mark, me and myself and Mark Buckle are going to walk through the drivers, our top 16 gridded up. Well, look at this pairing. The local hero against the absolute demon. Owen Atkinson, problems with the car, Teesside karting on the side. You know this track like the back of your hand.
Yeah, we've had problems all day, really. Not boosting what it should be, but, you know, we're going to send it, see what happens against the absolute smoke show over here and, yeah, have some fun.
Well, he is an absolute smoke show. Arunas, this car, the judges love it, everyone loves it, the crowd love it.
I don't love it.
You don't love it. That's because you have to fix it. It's on form, you're looking strong. Another podium this weekend?
Cross fingers, but I don't think so. I'm not very comfortable.
Wow, so there we go, a shaky Arunas. That fills you with a little bit of confidence.
We've got to have a bit of confidence going into it with the home track, but, yeah, he's fast, he's smoky, we'll see what happens.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first battle in your top 16, Arunas versus Owen Atkinson. Mark, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ian. And yes, we go to our next pair, Nerijus and Mr. Barker, leading the championship. Are we confident today?
Yeah, I'm feeling fairly confident. Obviously, as you can see, there's not much left at the front end of the car. I was having some overheating issues before. Thanks to Batty for actually managing to alter some stuff on the map. We got the car singing again because it was dying on South Bank earlier on in the first couple of laps. But now she's singing like a good one, and she feels really good and she feels fairly fast.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how quickly your car grips up and all the rest of it. So, Nerijus, how confident are we against championship leader Luke?
Well, I'm okay. This is like twice lower power like him. So I'm in borrow kart again. So, well, yeah, I'm just going to drive. Just hit. Yeah.
So you just...
I catch him, you know. But no. If I catch him, I catch him.
Fantastic. Well, the best of luck to both of you. Ladies and gents, Luke Barker and Nerijus. Right, the next pair need a little introduction. Ian will do Bagsy and Farrar.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, well, a guy that I know very, very well and a man that has been drifting with a long time. New car, you said you weren't feeling too confident earlier when I spoke to you before qualifying, but you managed to pull it together. Nice flick initiations. Judges liked it.
Judges didn't like the flick initiation, but the crowd did, and I did, and that's the main thing. We'd already done enough on the first run, and I was, I'm happy with it. It's working as a car. The hydro's not the end of the world. I mean, it might be in a minute for Bagsy when he tries following me in. But for me, it's, we've managed to make the car work this morning. I've qualified top 10 with some really good drivers. So we're in it, win or lose, we'll have a good time. Bagsy's a really talented driver. Shouldn't have to worry about him dooring me.
Much.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. He's not worried about you dooring him. I mean, the team might not feel the same way. Problems with the car earlier, but you found the cap for the oil reservoir, got yourself back out. It was touch and go, though.
The stupidest stuff can stop a car, and the power steering reservoir pot lid fell off during one of the runs. I don't even know how it came off, but came off. We were very lucky to find it, because if we didn't find it, that would have been the end of the weekend for us. But yeah, good. Qualifying's never really been my strongest point, but I'm looking forward to the battles now, and yeah, should be a bit of fun here, Carl.
Well, look, two pretty evenly matched cars, LSX, you got a blower on top. You're cheating a little bit with minimal power, but Carl's been looking strong. The initiation, he's got no handbrake, so you worried about that?
I'm sure he'll make it work somehow. It's an amazing car. Wes' old car is an awesome bit of kit, and I'm just looking forward to getting into the top 16 and go from there.
Well, there we go. Bagsy and Farrar, we move it along. It's going to be Steve Knott, JJ Stevens. Mark, it's over to you.
Yeah, just had a quick word with these two guys, and they said their hearts are pounding. I don't know if that's waiting for me to stick a microphone in their mouth or whether it's the battle. JJ just pulled it off in that first run, on that second run after not scoring in the first. He's now confident. Now you've put the score on the board.
Yeah, so.
No, I think these two are very nervous. So you guys and girls need to give them as much support as possible. Steve, first time in the pro class. Up here today, qualifying really well. Confident against JJ?
Kind of. We'll see how we get on.
Obviously, not many words, but no, it's going to be a good battle, whatever. Steve Knott and JJ Stevens. Next up, Snorkas and Matt Walker. Ian.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not going to lie. I watched Justinas in practice earlier, and I was like, he's not on it. He's not on it. And then he come out in qualifying and he absolutely proved me wrong. It's a good job I didn't have money down because I didn't put you in the top end of the bracket. But, dude, you absolutely blew the doors off in qualifying.
Thank you.
Feeling confident?
Yeah.
You're always just a one-word man. You're like, yes, that's it, job done. I'm gonna go for it. Look, there's already damage to the side of Matt Walker's car. He's got a recovery truck to take it home. There's no messing around. You going for the door?
Oh, yeah.
That's it, man. A few words, ladies and gentlemen. Justine Snorkas, Matt Walker. Well, look, Brucey bonus weekend for you.
Yeah, it's been another one that I've pulled off somehow, and I. Clutch started slipping Saturday morning, so I've been off for clutch all weekend, so we're just hoping it holds together now for the rest of the day.
Feeling confident going up against Justina's incredible lead line. You can absolutely stick it to the door.
It's a bonus day in it, so I just give it everything it's got and hope for the best.
Well, there you go. Give it all you've got and hope for the best. Mark's just having a quick word with Marcus Clare, and I'm going to hand it over to him because he's got, well, a beast versus a beauty, basically. Mark, it's Tom Van Beek and Hayden Crookshank.
Yeah, with little and large. And I'm talking about the cars before anybody starts having a go at me online or in the crowd. So, Tom, again, your first run, a little bit sketchy, a bit of rallycross on that top corner. Pulled it off in that second run, though.
Yeah, I wasn't really feeling it in practice. And then after the first qualifying run, DB did a tyre, sent us off the track. Just had enough, to be honest. So.
But you reckon you can put your MX-5 on the door of this chaser?
I'll give it a good go.
Give it a good go, Hayden. 1,000 brake horsepower? 750 today. So in other words, he could turn it up. But 750 against the MX-5, are you looking forward to this?
I'm going to struggle to just see it over the bonnet. That's the biggest challenge, I reckon.
Well, I'm sure if you're close enough, you'll be looking out at side window, never mind over the bonnet. So no, the best of luck to Hayden and Tom Van Beek. Your next pair, these two are teammates from Garage 500. Ian.
Look, I've just been winding them up, and I said, whatever happens, this is going to be some fun rivalry. But who's going to get whose door? I'm going to come to you fast, Ryan. Listen, this is my favourite car on the grid. I'm not going to lie. I just want to take it home and drive it and look after it in the garage, but I can't. Incredible drive. Absolutely flying. I know you're a man of few words. Are you going to take the door?
We'll have a go. We'll have a good go. I'm glad I'm against Marcus because I know he drives like it's nice, so it'll be good.
Yeah, look, exactly that was we were just talking about. You guys know each other very well, so you know each other's driving style, and not his car, so you won't feel so bad.
No, it's aimed at his car, so it's a bit, but yeah, a bit worrying, but no, it'll be good.
Well, there we go. Yeah, look, confident. He's going to take the door. You're not worried. You don't like this car, apparently.
Well, it's not mine, is it? So, yeah, it's one of those in the borrowed fast R34. It's feeling good, so again, it's nice to drive with Ryan, and we go as hard as we can. Like.
That's all you can do. You're going to push 110%. Marcus Clare, Ryan Hughes, teammates. That one's going to get messy. I can guarantee it already. Well, look, this man, a huge fan of mine, a huge fan. Am I going to get the honour? I'm going to get the honours, ladies and gentlemen. This young man right here. I want to get a round of applause. This is the future of UK drifting, ladies and gentlemen. Teesside, give him a round of applause. Finn Wells, 16 years old. Are you going back to school tomorrow, I guess, or college or something like that? Incredible car. Your driving is phenomenal, dude. How are you feeling?
Over the moon. It's been a very crazy weekend coming up from yesterday with just the plans of trying to qualify and get into the battles. And then, yeah, we managed to get into today and got a decent qualifying score for on the grid.
Look, your line driving is just phenomenal. And we know the car lacks a little bit of power, but it doesn't seem to faze you. Yesterday, I praised you massively because you waited to time the dives on the transitions to get that proximity back. Do you think you can do it against Stefanov?
If there's a gap that I can go for, then yeah. If he pulls away, then we'll just try and do a decent line and try and get some scores down and, yeah, see how it goes.
We wish you all the best of luck, dude. Stefan, first place qualifier. Practice, we didn't see you out on circuit much. Was there problems with the car?
Was trying some bits to see where it's going to go. And, yeah, finally, we get it work. We have some fun. I'm glad for the result. I'm very happy to have my new sponsors on board. They helped me to get a part of this, actually, today. And, yeah, let's see what's going to go.
Well, look, you've got an absolute young gun. His line is phenomenal, so you know you can sit there and just sit on the door. Are you going to be the first man in competition to put a tyre mark on this car?
Well,
Probably.
Well, there we go. Probably is the answer. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your top 16. So I need you to do something for me. I need every single person here at Teesside to stand on their feet. And I want you to make some noise for top 16! Ladies and gentlemen, that just leaves me one more thing to say, and that is, gentlemen, start your engines. We're heading to top 16. I'm going back to the tower. You guys are home. You're going back to the ads. We'll see you soon.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
More horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're back in the tower and ready to kick off our top 16 competition here at round 3 of the 2021 UK Drift Championship, our pro competition. Clouds starting to blow in, a little bit of a breeze. The temperature's dropped ever so slightly. It's a little bit more fresher for me, that's for sure today. Better for the guys in the car, better for the cars themselves. Confident grid, ready to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we've got some absolutely crazy battles. You've just seen them there on the intro. The guys are, well, the majority of them are confident. I think there is a lot of nerves out there, though, Ian.
Yeah, there certainly is. Look, some of them guys, you know, they pushed really, really hard to get into that top 16, and we stripped it down to just a top 16. We thought that if you are the best, you've got to beat the best. So why not make this competition incredibly hard and put on the best show? And I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of final battles because every battle will be like a final battle. And I think the standout one for me is going to be Tom van Beek versus Hayden Crookshank. I know there's probably a lot of people here and at home saying there is no way Tom van Beek stands a chance. But that little MX-5 will get all up in the business of that big title chaser. Don't forget that chaser, although it is light and has a lot of power, is hard to manoeuvre, where the MX-5 is nippy. So look for the sharp transitions, the dives onto the door from Tom van Beek.
This is it as well, with the chicane for the lead car. I think I said it to Tom. I said, don't forget, as soon as Dale, waves his fingers, you need to be on that throttle, because if you're chasing a fast car, don't be afraid to go in front of him and then literally just tuck in behind him for the initiation. And I suspect we might just see that from Tom, not just on against Hayden, but all of it. If he continues through the top 16 to the top 8, I think that's what we're going to see from Tom.
Exactly that, yeah. And I watched Bagsy do it earlier on in practice. Him and Luke Barker had a little tussle in practice, and Luke Barker waited for the hands to go all the way down. Bagsy had already kind of jumped the start line, and as soon as they entered into the initiation point out of clip 1, Bagsy was on the door. And he said, I was just testing out to see the grip, to find out where the limits were on initiation, to see if I could, push it and get on the door as close as I wanted to. He knows it's 1-0 at the moment. Luke Barker absolutely destroyed him at Driftland, and I know Bagsy loves this track. He loves South Bank, so he's not going to want to get taken down again by Barker.
No. So, let's see where we are up to on the start line. We should have Arunas, who qualified in 5th, and Owen Atkinson, the local man, qualified in 12th place, and there they are. And we can start to get them lined up, ready on the grid for the first round of the top 16 here at Teesside Autodrome. Obviously, we have to thank our sponsors who make these events possible. ASNU Injectors, Driven Racing Oil, Kobo Seats, Funk Motorsport, Fast R, Dorenza, Garage D, and of course, Hell Performance.
So there we go. As you can see, Arunas just warming up the tyres on the back of that BMW E46. He said he doesn't like this car and he's not feeling too confident. That is a man that just, he says that, but then he goes out there and absolutely throws it down.
Yeah, I don't get that. And then there's Owen straight to the line. Come on, let's have this. You spoke to him on the start line there, and he said he hasn't sorted out those problems. So let's see how Owen gets on against Arunas on this first battle of the top 16 here at the UK Drift Championship.
Well, there we go. They're through the start line, squeezes that BMW through the chicane, does Arunas as they come firing down, and you can see a little bit of a separation opens up straight away there. Outpaced is Owen Atkinson. Owen Atkinson, shallow angle. He's going to get lost in the smoke now. He needs to be very careful he doesn't get himself too lost in the smoke, as Arunas lays down in outside zone 3 and 4, comes through the centre of the circuit into the second hairpin. Arunas, big clutch kick from the back end of that car, squats as he crosses the line.
Yep, confident lead run there. What the judges tend to do is they'll score the runs out of 10 points, so they'll split the 10 points between the two drivers. If you haven't been to drifting before, or if you're watching on the live stream for the very first time, just to explain how the battles work, the guys take turns to lead, so they do 2 runs. One guy will lead 1 run and one guy will lead the second run, or girl, depending whether or not we've got a female on the grid. So they will head back to the start line and swap positions, and we have 3 judges who will make a call on who they think was the best driver out of the 2. And obviously, with there being 3 judges, it can be a split decision where we end up with a one more time, but 9 times out of 10 you tend to have the judges will make a decision. It'll be either driver A, driver B, or a one more time. If you're watching on the live stream at home, the graphics will come up, and we will make sure that we explain that to you on the banking out there in the crowd. Right, second run on the start line, Owen Atkinson to lead. He goes through the chicane so that he can't get a head start going into the first corner. If you're wondering why that's there, that just explains exactly the reason why.
Yeah, exactly that, just to make sure that the lead car can't jump the start line and get away. Atkinson gets a nice initiation, struggles to get on power early though, now starts to find some pace. As you can see, Arunas off throttle, waits to make the dive down in outside zone 3, starts to find a side of that Mazda RX-8 as they transition into outside zone 5, down the back end of the circuit, into that touch and go zone. You can see Arunas really pushing up onto the back bumper of Owen Atkinson's Mazda.
Wow, and that's just the first battle of our top 16. And what will happen now, boys and girls at home, and those of you here at the circuit, the guys will go back up to the start line, and we have it on the screen for those of you watching at home, and we will go back to the start line, and our start line man Dale Bradley will give the announcement, but all 3 judges unanimously saying it was Arunas in the BMW that takes the win on this one. So what we're going to do, guys, the guys are going to come round past you. as they come back to the pits. Arunas will probably go and get another set of rubber on his BMW, and Owen Atkinson, that is the end of the day for him, but we would like you to see you clapping and giving them a round of applause as they come round. They are here not only for their enjoyment, but they're there for your entertainment, so make sure you give these guys a round of applause as they leave the circuit, please. Obviously, we will see Arunas in the top 8, and Owen Atkinson, the local driver, so if you are fairly local, obviously nice to see Owen out onto track.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you know what, for a man that wasn't feeling too confident, he's now found himself a place in the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. So Arunas looking stronger and stronger every round of competition. We move it along. Luke Barker to take on Nerijus. Now, this one I'm excited about. Nerijus, nothing to lose. Barker, at the moment, championship contender. He's leading the points, but he knows he's got a tough little run ahead of him. As he comes up to the start line, you see we wait for the all clear to go. And there we go, thumbs up from both cars bang into gear, and you can see Barker already starting to creep away before the hands drop through the chicane. He goes, Barker wants this one, but Nerijus knows he can't let him get away. Big dive down on the inside goes Nerijus as he waits for Barker to set himself up on South Bank. Oh, but Nerijus had to get off throttle way too early. Sacrificed the line and dropped down. He's going to make another dive up into the rear bumper, but Nerijus just cannot find the proximity in the battle as Luke Barker jumps into it. Oh, Nerijus goes for a massive dive and almost over-rotates.
I'll tell you what, for me, the chicane there was perfect. Nerijus took the jump and was side by side with Luke off the start line because he said on the grid walk there he knows his car's too slow, so therefore he used the opportunity to get his car sideways, and it just shows how that chicane into that first corner allowed Nerijus to keep up that proximity. And obviously with a slower car, he did dive a little bit, and the judges always say that if the chase car is within a car length or 3 metres of the lead car, they are allowed to come off the line to get proximity. However, if it's a bigger gap than that, the drivers are expected to run that qualifying line. So we are back on the start line. Nerijus and Luke head off. Nerijus away. Let's see what Luke can do.
Yeah, look at this. Barker now in the chase position. Nerijus leading him in. Barker giving him some room to manoeuvre. Goes straight line behind the back end of him. He would have known on the radio from the spotters that Nerijus had a bad chase, and now Barker lets Nerijus make some mistakes out front once again as he washes down into the outside zone. Barker holding his own out back, just leaving some room there for error as Nerijus looking wild out front. Barker starts to rein him in, pushes onto the back end of the skyline as they run across the line.
Yeah, considering the amount of power and grip that Luke's got in that GT86, as we could see, you probably couldn't see it from the crowd, but we could see he had his brake lights on as he came out of the first hairpin, so obviously using left foot braking as a technique to get that proximity on to Nerijus. So another fantastic battle, and again we're just starting that top 16, and those of you at home have seen the decision has dropped already. We have got Peden, Rich and James, and Luke Barker will go through to the next round of competition. So the championship leader gets into that Grade 8, and obviously the drivers congratulating each other. I'll put my teeth in. Congratulating each other on the start line. Yeah, that was an epic battle, Ian.
Yeah, incredible battle there from Luke Barker. Luke Barker just played the absolute safe game. He knew exactly what he was doing in that chase position. And as I said, the spotters would have been on the radio to him saying, look, don't go too mad here. He made a whole host of errors in his chase. He was way down off the bank. Just play with him a little bit. Stay close, but don't get too close in case he spins out. We don't want damage to the car. We're moving forward, and we've got Arunas now in the Funk Motorsport Grade 8, and we can't afford to not win that battle. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, as they come past. Give them a round of applause, give them a cheer. These guys laying it all down, risking their car for your entertainment.
That's it, exactly. Yeah. Lots of time, money and effort, blood, sweat and tears go into these cars to put on a show for you guys. Not only at home, but those of you that have come out to support the UKDC up on the banking as we go to the grid. We have got Stephen Bagsy Biagioni and Carl Farrar. This car freshly bought, and he's only had it a week, I think.
Yeah,
so
a week, yeah.
I know he did some testing here, not on this layout, not on this track, but he was here on Wednesday. And obviously we've got Bagsy who had issue in practice this morning, but they are on the start line, ready to rock and roll.
So there we go. Yeah, Bagsy gives Carl Farrar a thumbs up, both arms out the window, waving to each other there through the start line. Bagsy, the higher qualifier, to lead. Down they come. Both Chevrolet V8s underneath the bonnets of these Nissans. And look at Farrar. What goes for that flick initiation? He knows he needs to dive up onto the side of Bagsy's S13. Can he get there? He goes for it. Carl Farrar not scared. of Bagsy as Bagsy comes down the wide line into outside zone 4. Looking good out front is Bagsy. Cole Farrar makes a little error there, has to shallow up massively, but a big dive for Farrar through the smoke, and Farrar goes wheel to wheel with Bagsy on the back bumper as Farrar pushes Bagsy across the line.
Wow, Teesside.
Wow.
Round of applause for that run there. I'll tell you what, considering Carl said his handbrake wasn't working, I saw him lock up into that first corner, so he must be
hanging off of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's... I hate to say it, but I don't think I've seen Carl drive as well as that for a long time.
No,
he's used to driving a Nissan Laurel, and he's used to driving a Chaser. There's this S13. I think he said he did 8 tyres on a practice day on Wednesday, and that's all that's the only time he's driven this S13.
Well, there you go. So only a few laps under his belt for Cole Farrar, but nevertheless feeling super confident. Now he has to lead in Bagsy, though. Bagsy would have been told by his spotter Sam on the radio that he needs to be on the door, or at least put a mark on the door, otherwise we could lose this one. They come firing down, separation opens up. Look at Bagsy on the dive, though. Bagsy goes for a big dive up and to the side, waits for Farrar to set himself up. Bagsy hunts down the side of Cole Farrar, but Farrar squeezes the throttle, unleashing all that V8 power, trying to drive away from Bagsy, but Bagsy's right with him. They transition into outside zone 6. Bagsy through the smoke. Can he repay the favour as Bagsy pushes? Farrar goes wide and across the line. Incredible.
Wow. Wow. This is the top 16. Wow.
I said about 10 minutes ago, every battle will be like a final battle.
Well, we said earlier, to get into that top 16 and to get the win, it's hard work. It is hard work.
Well, so, look, I mean, I don't know what way to call that, because Cole Farrar, bravery for me. Look at that. Oh, look, there's this damage on the bumper. Did Bagsy gave him a little nudge. We didn't see that. So, look, bumper immaculate on the driver's side, and then after the run, it took a big punt in the back. So Bagsy must have nudged him on the initiation. Yeah, just to let you know, on the banking, the judges are just watching a replay of these runs. Obviously, we are streaming live on Facebook. So the judges obviously using every single possible thing they've got to their disposal to make sure that they give the right result on every single battle. Yeah, they certainly are. So they're just watching lead and chase at the moment, just trying to see who made any mistakes, where the errors were made. Look at this dive from Farrar, though. Look, locked up the front brake, jumped onto the side of Bagsy's car. Look, rubbed the front bumper on the front wheel as he nudged him, but then he made a mistake there in the smoke. You can see Farrar, almost straight as he come through the smoke. But I'm sure both drivers will be buzzing after a battle like that. Absolutely buzzing. So there we go. We're going to take a look back at the replay of Farrar leading. And for me, I think Bagsy was a little bit... I think Bagsy was on the ropes a little bit there. He knew that was an incredible chase. Gave him some room to manoeuvre. Where did he get the nudge in the go? The dive was incredible for Bagsy, and he knew he had to get into the pocket there. He had to get himself into the crease. Farrar, though, unfazed, not even thinking about where Bagsy is. No, I mean, we say it to the drivers, whatever you do, never look over your shoulder, because you don't want to see how close the car is next to you. Unless you can see the front wing, then you should be concentrating pure and simply on what you're doing. So there we go. Look at this. Farrar very, very wide on that line. Well, judges taking into consideration that although there is a white line that's deemed almost the edge of the circuit, they were allowed to use a lot of that track. So we are looking across at the judges, and James is... Pondering. I think Pedon's the same chunk. Ooh, very, very close call, this one. Right, who on the banking thinks that Cole Farrar took the win? Who on the banking think Bagsy took the win? Nobody. There's nobody here. No, there is a few. And who thinks it should be a one more time? Oh, blimey. They're very quiet, aren't they? We're going to have to work on these guys. Who thinks Carl should win? There's a few cheers. Who thinks Bagsy should win? And who thinks it should be a one more time? To be fair, I think that's kind of where I lay with this one. I think I'd like to see it one more time. I think I'd like to see these guys go at it again. But I'm not a judge. I'm just a commentator. Here we go. Right. One vote for Bagsy. From Pedon. Rich and James. What does Rich and James say? Oh, James says one more time. Where does Rich go? Oh, and he goes with Bagsy. Bagsy gets the win, but a split judging panel. James, we have to come to you. He's going to put his headset on and he's going to get ready to explain this. Bagsy gets the win, and we'll go through to the top 16. Cole Farrar.
Okay.
Just having a word. Sorry, James. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I was pausing. Sorry, Ian. I was trying to think of exactly how I'm going to explain what I'm going to explain. Sometimes in the judging, you know what's going on with the cars as well, and I know that Carl's having a lot of issues with that car, and I could forgive him some of the little errors that were going on, but in reality, I might be one more time, or I might have gone to Steve. I sat on the fence. My two colleagues backed Steve, which is a fair shout, and I can't argue with that.
Oh, so there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. Carl Farrar, Steve Bagsy, Biagioni, and Carl Farrar, the showman. Part-time drifter, full-time rock star, makes his way off the circuit. And there we go. Bagsy gets the win, advances through to the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. And that was a close one. I'm not going to lie. I thought Bagsy was on the ropes there.
Yeah, I think Carl's errors on his chase run. I mean, the initiation wasn't perfect. If the cars had been working perfectly all right together, I don't think it would be too much of an issue, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, exactly that. So there we go. Back to the start line we go, and it will be Stephen Knott to take on JJ Stevens. These two guys didn't even want to talk earlier. They were so nervous. They just wanted to get in the car and get the job done.
No, well, I think they are teammates to an extent. I saw some social media shots of the cars getting ready, but they're off the start line. Both similar sorts of powers, 14 versus 34. And Steve really wide and just about keeps it on track. The judges will probably want to see a replay of that. JJ Stevens was very, very nervous. I think more so about the introduction than driving, and Knott running a good lead line, and JJ Stevens desperately trying to get on his door.
Wow. So there we go. JJ Stevens, for me there, do you know what? Very calculated drive. He initiated, and then he waited, and he waited, and he waited. And I thought he was going to get himself out of the fight, but he knew that Steve Knott was carrying way too much pace into the South Bank corner, and he was going to wash off into the gravel. And you could see JJ Stevens thinking about it, watching him fall off track, and then he gets on throttle and just doesn't shortcut the track, takes a nice line, and manages to catch back up with Steve Knott, jumps off onto the door. Very nice driving from JJ Stevens. Now, roll reversal. Can JJ Stevens hold his own? Can he keep his cool? They come through the chicane down the start line. Steve Knott knows he's at a massive deficit at the moment. Needs to force some points his way. Separation opens up as JJ Stevens screams down to South Bank through outside zone 2. JJ Stevens hasn't looked this comfortable all day as he fires into outside zone 3. On the throttle super early. Can he hold on to it? Just drops a little bit of a wheel off the edge of the track. Fires some dust in the air. Steve Knott, no proximity as JJ Stevens hammers down and crosses the line.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see if the judges are going to penalise Steve enough for that mistake on that first corner. Obviously, we saw the dust fly up into the sky as he went towards clip 2. And if you're watching on the live stream at home, you can see we are just watching a replay of the first run with Steve in the lead position, with JJ Stevens absolutely got that R34 pinned.
Watch this though. Look how clever JJ Stevens is. Watch, he waited, he got on throttle, backs off a little bit. Look, left foot brakes because he can see Steve Knott on the gravel, and then JJ Stevens says, right, we're back in the game. Now squeezes the throttle, then finds the proximity. That was very clever driving from JJ Stevens.
And 2 wheels off track there for Steve. I could see the judges were nodding their heads. I think they were waiting to see that replay to see if that was the case.
Yeah, JJ Stevens just very, very clever there, what he done. Waited and waited, and he's out of the car. He must be absolutely buzzing. So there we go. Votes are in. 1 vote for JJ Stevens. JJ Stevens gets the win, advances through into the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. And yeah, wheels off track. Judges nodding at us. Wheels off track. JJ Stevens gets the win. And I think he says sorry to Steve Knott. I think he says, sorry, dude. Sorry that.
Well, yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, we always say you'd rather lose an awesome battle than win it by default. And that's exactly what happened. It's still a great battle between them. You know, the 2 runs, 1 chase, 1 lead. So, yeah, that's that one out of the way. And obviously, make sure you give both of these drivers a round of applause as they're coming off track. Steve Airy, unfortunate to go in just a little bit too fast into that first corner and knocked out of the competition. Of course, coming through from yesterday's competition when we ran the Pro 2 class. So, no, he still should be very proud. I mean, he qualified in 2nd place today. So, yeah, Steve's showing that he's going to be a man to be reckoned with moving forward. As we wait for JJ Stevens to remove his 34 off the line. and then we will have the next battle, which will be Justinus against Matt Walker.
Yeah, Justinus Snorkas, as I said it to him on the track walk, it didn't look too strong in practice, but qualifying absolutely pulled out the bag. Matt Walker said, well, this is just borrowed time at the moment. I am just absolutely having a brilliant weekend. Nothing to lose for me. Managed to get himself into the Pro Top 16 once again. And Matt Walker's line driving, earning him the right to be here this weekend. So, there we go. JJ Stevens makes his way off the circuit, and we do go back to the start line to see Justinus Snorkas to take on Matt Walker. So we go down the back of the grid. Tyres begin to be warmed up, and there we go. Justinus Snorkas and Matt Walker. Justinus, for me, is just looking stronger and stronger. Those qualifying runs been absolutely on form. And Matt Walker's lead line, though, very, very tidy. 11th place in qualifying. Justinus Snorkas 6th. And Matt Walker saying this will be the last time we use this car because he is building a brand new car for 2022, ready to come back and try and dominate the UK Drift Championship. As he pulls to the line. So there we go, thumbs up all round in the tower, everyone ready to rock and roll. Thumbs up from our drivers into gear, the cars go. Snorkas to lead out Walker for a spot in the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. Down they come through the gears. And Matt Walker giving Justinus Snorkas some room there. Now Snorkas up high on the bank, very wide line. Matt Walker sticking to what the judges said and just putting in a lead line of his own out back there. No proximity from Matt Walker, but out carred ever so slightly here as Matt Walker sticks to the qualifying line. Justinus Snorkas so absolutely walking away with that one.
Yep, great lead run there from Justinus, and obviously the V8 under the bonnet of that S14, not enough power to keep up with Justinus in the BMW. Obviously Justinus' BMW there with the lights blazing, so when he's chasing,
yeah, that little bit of intimidation,
yeah,
just trying to,
yeah, a little
trying
bit
to
of
scare that chase
intimidation.
car, that lead car, sorry. So back on the line they go. And Justinus now to chase down Matt Walker. Justinus now needs to be careful, needs to try and balance that car behind the slower car of Matt Walker. And Matt Walker just needs to do what he's been doing all weekend, stick in those perfect leads lines. He goes shallow on the bank. Now he's made a massive error, tries to get the back end of that S14 up into outside zone 2. Fails to get there. That's opened the door for Snorkas. Snorkas comes down into the first hairpin, starts to hunt down the back end of that Nissan S14 as he dives through the smoke. Snorkas doing an incredibly good job of chasing down the slower car as he jumps onto the back bumper and across the line.
Yeah, you could see brake lights from Justinus' car there again, using the left foot brake to keep that proximity. Matt Walker, I think, struggling with that initiation of Matt Walker. I think he's got the same problem that Carl's got with his handbrake. It looked like it was a faint initiation.
And the clutch, he's got clutch issues as
well.
Oh,
he's got clutch. All right, okay. So he's he's fighting, not only fighting Justinus, but he's fighting the car as well. If that's the case, we will wait for the judge's decision to drop in. And Peden says Justinus, Rich says Justinus, and all three judges, it's a unanimous decision. Justinus Snorkas takes the win and will move on to the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. So yeah, another great battle in prospect then. So will it be JJ Stevens against Bagsy and Justinus, the winner of the next battle? Justinus just finishing off his tyres there as he exits the circuit. But no, a big round of applause to both drivers. I'm sure we're going to see great things from Matt Walker in the future as we look up to the burnout box and we can see Tom Van Beek with that MX-5 and Hayden Crookshank in that huge chaser, as we said on that pit walk, only running 750 brake horsepower this weekend, as opposed to running silly amounts that he can wind up with this one, about 1,000 foot-pound of torque and look at the grip on that.
Yeah,
Did
looks
you
like
see
they've
it
wound
then?
that up. Look, this is what I said earlier on. A lot of people might count Tom van Beek out of this. He was the higher qualifier, and that car is very, very fast, and the way it transitions, that chaser of Hayden Crookshank's not as nimble, and I think this could be, this could go either way. Who can hold it together? So we are waiting to get those guys off the line. So as soon as we get the all thumbs up and the all clear from everyone in the tower, we will be sending those guys away from the start line. So it will be Van Beek to lead, Hayden Crookshank to give chase. So here we go, down they come. Tom van Beek leading in, Hayden Crookshank absolutely flying to that first corner. Look at Tom van Beek grip that car up to the max as he gets on throttle nice and early. You can see Hayden Crookshank waiting to make the dive. Oh, makes a big dive, holds onto it. Everybody in the tower had their hands on their heads because they thought Hayden Crookshank was going to fire that one away. Look at Hayden Crookshank, on the door he goes as Tom van Beek brings him across the line. So there we go. Those two guys make their way back to the start line. Tom van Beek with an incredible lead. The dives from Hayden Crookshank, though, keeping that car on throttle, managing to balance it behind a little MX-5 was an absolutely incredible job from Hayden Crookshank. And now we're going to get the pleasure to see how good Tom van Beek is as a chase driver. He's going to try and do his best against the 750 horsepower beast that is Hayden Crookshank's Toyota. They come through the chicane down. You can see Hayden Crookshank look across and say that pesky little MX-5's right there, and a big dive on initiation from Tom van Beek as he now starts to work that car into the groove on and off the throttle as he keeps himself out of the smoke line, down on the inside, makes a big dive. Can he hold on to it? He can. As Tom van Beek looks for the snappy transition through the smoke, goes Tom van Beek, he gets onto the back bumper, pushes up onto the side, looks for the door of Hayden Crookshank's chaser across the line. Teesside, give him a round of applause. Wow, that was absolutely incredible driving from both of those guys. So judges asking to see a replay. So there we go, off the start line they go. And even how tight that small that MX-5 is, Tom van Beek still manages to scuff the car on the chicane as he comes through. There we go, down they come. And I think Hayden Crookshank here underestimated the power and grip in that little MX-5. Started to drive away from him, but you can see Crookshank waited for the opportunity. Down he goes into outside zone 3, lets that car wash, jump up onto the side of Tom van Beek's MX-5, and then this, through the smoke, the transition. On the door he goes, and Tom van Beek held his own, though, not scared whatsoever, but very wide from Hayden Crookshank. So judges looking for the second half of the run as well, as we go back to a replay for you guys watching here live on the bank at Teesside Autodrome. Through the gears goes Hayden Crookshank, and you see Tom van Beek, very, very clever drive, jumped the start line, got himself into the groove, and then on the back bumper straight away on the initiation. Look at that, jumps on the inside. You can see him dabbing the foot brake because he was getting too close as he come through outside zone 3. Very clever driving, stayed out of that smoke line, made sure he was close enough to Hayden Crookshank that he wasn't going to get lost in the smoke. They come into outside zone 4. A little bit of separation opens up as Crookshank waits for the transition, gets it done. Tom van Beek on it though, just makes a little dive, pushes the nose of MX-5 into the crease, and across the line. Very, very close battle between those two guys. So judges still deliberating this one, waiting for the decision. Could this be Hayden Crookshank's? Could it be Tom van Beek's? Or is it going to go one more time? And I think the judges, well, they have the headset on already, so that means there's going to be a decision coming that I am going to ask the question for. And now some laughter from the judges and the rest of the team in the tower as they try to work out a decision. So here we go. Looks like they do have a decision. We're going to put the graphic up onto the screen for you guys watching at home. Who's going to take it through to the Funk Motorsport Great 8? Just 3 more spots left. Here we go. Oh, Rich says one more time. Peden and James. James says Hayden Crookshank. Peden says one more time. It's going to be a one more time. So a split decision again. James, I have to send it over to you.
Okay, Ian. For me personally, I slightly edged it to Hayden because on his lead he was slightly deeper through 2 to 3 and then round to the outer clip. I think on his lead Tom wasn't quite as deep. However, I scored it 6-4, 6-4. So on my sheet, actually, I scored it one more time. My colleague stuck to that. When we reviewed, I erred towards Hayden because I feel that he did a better job. But we're going to run him again and get a clear winner, please.
So there we go. Back on them again, they're going to go. So these guys are going to go back to the pits. Maybe a little look at the car. Oh, Hayden Crookshank's going for a cool-down run. Not sure if Tom Van Beek is going to go back to the pits or if he's ready to rock and roll. So we are just looking for see a decision. So we're just waiting to find out what is going on with Tom Van Beek. Is he going to be going straight back out again? Does he need tyres or fuel? Or is he going to go back? It looks like Hayden Crookshank's gone back into the paddock. So Tom Van Beek is going to go back to the grid. We know that Hayden Crookshank's gone back into the paddock to change some tyres. Have a look at that car. So there we go as he goes past the grandstand, the hill, sorry. Everybody here at Teesside Autodrome, giving a round of applause. We move it along to the next battle of the day. It's going to be Marcus Clare to take on Ryan Hughes. So teammates, Garage 500 teammates now are going to go head to head. And Ryan Hughes says, well, it's not technically Marcus Clare's car, so I'm not too scared about taking the door and putting a tyre mark on it. We'll see if Ryan Hughes can, in fact, get that car up onto the door as they both warm tyres and pull up to the start line. This one going to be interesting. 2 good friends, 2 teammates, 2 guys that know each other's driving very, very well. Here we go, thumbs up, hands down. Ryan Hughes to chase down Marcus Clare. Through the gears they come. And Marcus Clare looks for the back end of that Nissan Skyline R34 as they fire down into outside zone 1. Big separation opened up already. Marcus Clare on the throttle nice and early. He knows the power and grip in Ryan Hughes, his S14. He knows he's a good driver, so he knows he needs to put some distance between himself and Ryan as they transition into outside zone 6. Ryan Hughes looks for the dive up into the door, starts to work the screw, turn it in as they hammer across the line.
Yeah, that looked like a very, very good lead run from the R34 with Marcus Clare behind the wheel. Obviously borrowed that car. He's only driven it once before, apparently.
Yeah, once before and then this weekend.
So, yeah, no mean feat to jump into a car that he's certainly not used to. And he's there with his teammate from Garage 500. Make sure you check those guys out on Instagram. And obviously Fast R, make sure you follow their social media networks. Some absolutely incredible content produced by Fast R, obviously our title sponsor. So a big thank you to them. As we see Dale set them off the start line right. So Ryan knocks the chicane out of the way as he tries to get as much speed and distance as possible away from Marcus Clare, and Ryan up on that high line. Marcus Clare starts to dial in, gets the front wing of that R34 right up on the door of Ryan Hughes, and he sticks it all the way around the hairpin into the second hairpin. Where's Marcus Clare gone? What happened to Marcus Clare? He's straightened.
Broken a drive shaft.
That's it.
He's broken a drive shaft.
Yep, there was one wheel spinning and smoking, so it looks like Marcus Clare has broken a drive shaft, and I would assume that will automatically be a 0-point run for Marcus. So Ryan Hughes, therefore, I would assume, have a quick replay of that one. And we've got it up on those of you on the live stream. We're watching on the live stream can see Marcus chasing Ryan down into that first corner. Very, very good proximity from Marcus as they enter into South Bank corner. Ryan Hughes' foot welded to the floor, smoke coming up to his mirror. Marcus Clare with a little bit of well, plenty of proximity, gets really close right on the rear quarter, and we would think at this point here, obviously the cars disappear off into a cloud of smoke, and then Ryan reappears and Marcus nowhere to be seen. And if you look on the live stream, that near side inside tyre smoking away, nothing from the outside wheel. So one would assume that the drive shaft is broken on the R34, and it looks like the decision is in, and it is a unanimous decision. Ryan Hughes moves through into the Funk Motorsport top 8.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, mechanical failure letting Marcus Clare down. Incredible chase as well. Looked like he almost had that one in the bag.
I mean, he said he didn't like that car before.
He definitely hates it now.
And Ryan moves the chicane again. Keep Dale on his toes on our start line. So yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, one-wheel drive.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame for Marcus Clare. Incredible as well. Yeah, look at this. Look, a one-wheel burnout around the back of the circuit.
Yeah, one-wheel peel. So a round of applause for these two drivers. Ryan Hughes, like we said, moving on to the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. So our next battle will be the last battle of our top 16. We have got one more time.
So we've got the last battle in our grid of top 16. It will be Stefanov to take on Finn Wells, your first and 16th place qualifiers.
So Finn Wells, the young 16-year-old, mum and dad up on the banking, willing him on after a great result yesterday in the Grade 8, and sees him on the start line against our top qualifier. And there we go. Finn absolute knows that Stefan's really quick. He gets the jump on the line. He's going to try everything possible to keep up with Stefan in the Dream Car Giveaways S13. And look at Stefan on that perfect high line into clip 2. Finn trying all he possibly can to get that 350Z. And like he said, he's going to do anything he possibly can. If he sees an opening, he's going to try and pin it. But Stefan there running the perfect lead line. And obviously, like you've said before, slightly outcarred by Stefan in that 350Z.
Yeah, certainly so. And yeah, look, Stefanov's car is an absolute weapon, and not short of a few hundred horsepower. We know Finn Wells' car is on its limit right now and beyond in this pro class, but nevertheless, Finn Wells has done an outstanding job in that chase position, done everything he could, found a few little opportunities to make a dive, try and gain back some proximity. Now Finn Wells gets to do exactly what he likes to do, and that is put down those incredible lead lines. That is going to open the door, though, for Stefanov. Can he balance the incredible horsepower car onto the side of that Outlaw Engineering 350Z? They come off the line. Look at that. Finn Wells not messing around. As soon as the hands were dropping, he was off the start line. Stefanov's going to give him some room to manoeuvre, though he knows Finn Wells is lacking a little bit of pace. Finn Wells, though, not messing around. Foot buried to the floor as he fired that car in. Look at how high he is on the bank. Incredible lead so far from Finn Wells. He comes down into outside zone 3. Stefanov giving him the room now, makes the dive up to the side. As Stefanov looks for a transition in the middle of the circuit. Up onto the side he goes. He said he was going to take the door, but I think he's being polite right now. Oh, tags the back end. Pushes Finn Wells across the line.
Yeah, fantastic run there from Stefan, using all his skill, using the clutch, the handbrake, just to keep, and left foot braking, just to keep nice and close to Finn. And a great experience for the 16-year-old there, going up against Stefan, the top qualifier. Obviously, Finn just making into the top 16, but he should be very proud of his achievements this weekend. And it's his first season of drifting. I mean, his brother is out down at the Bass round for the NASA for Grass Track Racing World, so I hope he's having as good a weekend as Finn is. And we look to our start line and we look across to the judges, and I think the judges' decision is in. Yes, it's a unanimous decision, and Stefanov takes the win over the young 16-year-old Finn Wells. But please make sure as they come round, you give both of these drivers a huge round of applause. I think, like Ian said on the pit walk, this is the future of UK drifting with Finn Wells. It's these youngsters that come in, such as like Connor Shanahan did and Jack Shanahan did, and certainly making their mark on the drift scene. So yes, the number 1 qualifier heads into the Funk Grade 8 in the Dream Car Giveaways S13, and young Finn Wells He was a very, very happy young man this morning. I popped down to see them in the paddock area, and Mum and Dad are very proud of their achievements. So, yeah, very well done to Finn Wells. Very proud of his achievements this weekend.
Yep, so there he goes, arm out the window waving, and that guy has got an incredibly bright future ahead of him. I just can't wait to see how he progresses in the next coming seasons as he ups the power and the chassis and just works on that car and improves his program. We go back to the one more time of Tom van Beek to take on Hayden Crookshank. And Hayden Crookshank there just throwing up a smoke screen already as Tom van Beek sits on the line ready to rock and roll. Hayden sits just off the start line, adjusts his belts, gets himself ready to go, and slots that car into gear, pulls up to receive a thumbs up from both sides all around. Hands down, here we go. Van Beek to lead, Crookshank to give chase, and Crookshank would have been saying, what do I need to beat this little MX-5? Well, you need to lay everything down and more as Crookshank goes for the dive up to the door, backs out of it. Tom van Beek stays absolutely pinned on the throttle. They come down the hill into outside zone 3. Tom van Beek on that perfect wide line as Hayden Crookshank loses a little bit of ground through the middle of the circuit. Does he go for a dive in the smoke? He certainly does. As Tom van Beek squeezing the throttle, kicking the clutch, they bring it across the line.
Wow. I mean, it's the battle of little and large. That MX-5 and Hayden, I mean, he said he can hardly see that car out over the bonnet with it being such a huge car. But, I mean, he's certainly got to grips with that car. And, yeah, good to see him out there against Tom van Beek. And obviously now we get to the line, reverse the roles, and it will be Hayden. I mean, sadly I had to do something and I missed this first battle, so I'm guessing it was an epic pair of runs last time.
It was, yeah, it was. And look, judges couldn't split it. They just could not split it. So they decided to go one more time. Here we go. Hayden Crookshank to lead. Tom van Beek to give chase. Look at Van Beek not messing around. As soon as the hands were down, he was up and gone. He knew that Crookshank was fast and he had to make the dive on the inside. Look at Van Beek, up onto the door he goes. He's going to get even closer than he was before on South Bank as Tom van Beek not messing around. Gives Crookshank the room to manoeuvre as Crookshank goes very, very wide off the throttle. Almost dropped wheels off the edge of the track. Late transition for Crookshank. Van Beek in it, squeezes the throttle one more time as Van Beek looks for the back end but loses some ground across the line.
Wow. Oh, blimey. I mean, we said it in the build-up that chicane is there to allow the chase car to keep up with the faster cars, and that was the perfect example. Tom van Beek, as soon as Dale dropped his hands, he was away and he knew that Hayden was going to be quicker into clipping point 1 and used that chicane perfectly to his own advantage.
So there we go, judges wanting to see a replay of this one. Too close to call. These guys, I tell you, they could go all day long and nobody would be disappointed because these two guys are seriously pushing hard. And I think a lot of people at home and probably sitting on the edge of the track now would be thinking that there was no way that Van Beek could hold on to this. But look at Van Beek's lead line, absolutely flawless as he comes down into outside zone 3. Couldn't have been wider. Look, all right to the edge of the track, on throttle the whole way round, and this is where Crookshank made the dive through the smoke. Judge is looking for an alternative camera angle on that transition this time. Up onto the side he goes, and Crookshank does have the proximity on his chase, where we did see Van Beek just drop away ever so slightly. So we're going to see the replay of the second half of the run now pop up on your screen for you guys watching at home. Crookshank, look at that. Crookshank's through the chicane. Van Beek's 2 cars ahead. He's like, I'm not messing around.
He's halfway down the straight before Hayden catches up. But no, I mean, that's exactly what it's designed for. And as you can see there, as they initiate into clipping point 1, Tom van Beek is literally on the driver door of Hayden Crookshank. And despite the speed, he still manages to hit clip 2 behind Hayden. Little bit of a shallower angle, but he's still at clip 3, and it's at this point here that I think the judges are looking for. Hayden's nice and wide.
They've gone for an alternative camera angle on the replay so they can just see where the transition is.
But then Tom...
He loses, look, he makes a mistake here, look. Waits, off throttle, big clutch kick, and that's where he loses a bit of ground. And I think it's going to come down to that proximity and that mistake to run the battle, personally.
Yep, and I think Peden and Chunk, or Rich, and
James
have all got the decision.
Yeah, there we go.
And those of you at home will see they're all swiping to the right, and it's Peden, Rich and James. Unanimous decision, and it's Hayden Crookshank that will go through into the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. So that is our Grade 8 done and ready to go in it, Ian?
Yeah, fully decided. Our Funk Motorsport Grade 8 is decided. First battle we'll see will be Arunas to take on Luke Barker. It will be Bagsy to take on JJ Stevens. Justina Snorkas to take on Hayden Crookshank. Ryan Hughes to take on Stefanov. That, again, an incredible lineup of battles. Not one of those now I look at and think that's an easy win for each driver, because both guys are pushing hard.
But no, I mean, give these drivers a round of applause. They were two absolutely incredible battles. As Hayden Crookshank smokes out the track in that monstrous chaser, and Tom Van Beek couldn't do any more, Ian, I don't think. I mean, it was just so close to call.
They just, and James just quickly said to me there, as you were talking, he said, just a lot of small errors from Tom Van Beek. So close to being Van Beek's. But do you know what? Fair play and fair showing for Tom Van Beek. Did what he could. He took that incredible driver and car to one more time. So there we go. On your screen at home, if you're watching, you can see the Funk Motorsport Grade 8 battles to be decided. So we look down to the start line, see if we have got the first battle in our Funk Motorsport Grade 8 ready to rock and roll. It will be Arunas to take on Luke Barker. And, well, this one could upset the championship, Mark.
It could, yes. I mean, let's see if Arunas can bring the fight. I suspect Arunas will. However, we all know how much grip and power that Luke is running in that GT86. It's, it is going to be a battle and a half.
It certainly is. Well, 4th and 5th place qualifiers, and Luke Barker being the higher qualifier of the two, he gets to lead them out. Two very well-equipped machines, two absolutely insane drivers off the line. They go. Barker to lead, Arunas Namontas to give chase in that BMW in the background. Look at him straight behind Barker as they fire down, and Arunas not messing around. Went for a big dive up on the inside. As soon as Barker got on the throttle, though, that GT86 was up and gone, and now look at the speed and the grip that they've dialed into that GT86. Arunas nowhere to be seen. They come through the centre of the circuit. Arunas goes for a dive on the foot brake, looks for the side at GT86, goes for another clutch kick, but Barker is up and gone.
That GT86 has got so much grip. I think he's running a winter's diff and all that kind of stuff in the back of that, I believe. And obviously the team have got that car absolutely dialed in. I mean, Luke Barker was umming and ahhing whether we'd been able to compete here this weekend. His other half is expecting at the moment, but no, we're thankfully Luke has managed to make the grid, and he's obviously hoping to consolidate that championship lead. But obviously Arunas and Bagsy, they want to bring the fight to Luke. So Luke in that chase position now with Arunas. Obviously there's smoke machines, these two, and let's see what happens on this run.
So there we go. Luke Barker in a chase position. Arunas through the gate and down through the gears. Barker knows he needs to be onto the back bumper on the side. Look at Barker, goes for a dangerous dive up onto the door as they initiate in over 100 miles an hour into South Bank. Barker on the inside, though, making a few wavers, a few wobbles as Arunas gets nice and deep into outside zone 3. You can see Barker just wavering that car, struggling to find the side as they transition through the smoke. Barker's there, though. Barker emerges through the smoke up onto the door of Arunas' BMW. Teesside makes some noise.
Wow. But again, I have no doubt at all, will the judges want to see a replay of these two runs?
Yeah, I'm going to say they're going to see a replay of this. They're going to look for a replay. See, they look at as much of the track as they can, but where there's tricky parts, they go to the replay or they look at the monitor, but they watch pretty much the whole run through the front of the tent up here. So we're looking at a replay now, and you can see a little bit of separation there, and Barker's car incredibly quick. Look, when he gets on throttle, that car is just pulls car lengths away from Arunas, and Arunas lost in the smoke as they come down into outside zone 3. Shortcuts the track to try and make a dive. Barker gets back into it again, and Arunas pops through the smoke, shortcutting the track, tries to get some proximity, but once again, Barker on the throttle and fires away.
Yeah, that car working so well. So we go on to the second run, and this time with Arunas in that lead position. Again, Luke using that chicane to allow him to keep up with Arunas, and he's so close as he comes off the line, tucks in behind Arunas into the initiation, and then just dives on the door of Arunas and just lets him get out to that clipping point. You can see Luke's front wheel there just slowing up where he's left foot braking to keep some proximity, but he's really, really shallow coming down towards clipping point 2. All right, Arunas was shy of clip 3, but Luke was there, and then there comes the transition, and Luke diving on the door of Arunas and then using the power and the grip of that GT86 as they come through that final clip, and a little waver and side by side over the finish line. So the drivers will have absolutely loved that battle. Nice clean battle, no tricks played by either of them. Obviously both of them discussing what they've seen. They're probably looking up at the tower wondering what on earth's going to happen.
What's going on? Who's going to get the call? That's what they're waiting for.
So we look across to the judges and see.
Tough call. I think they're still umming and ahhing this one. They're still discussing this one. Very, very close battle between two guys. I think there was a few mistakes from both guys and judges just struggling to come to a decision.
Yeah, the three judges, Peden, James and Rich, all with years of experience. Peden driving in the IDC over in Ireland for a number of years, so he's a drifter himself. James Grimsey, he organised the first drift event at Rockingham back in 2005 called GT Battle, and I was sat in the grandstand watching that event when we had Kazama come across from Japan. And then we've got Chunk, Rich Newton, Chunk. He's been drifting since 2005, 2006, and yeah, he's got a lot of experience under his belt. He drove an R32 for a number of years, and retired from competitive drifting. And James competed in the European Drift Championship for a number of years. So while we ask the judges for their decision, should we ask the boys and girls here on the ground banking who think's got the win?
I don't think they're loud enough today, Mark.
You don't think they're loud enough?
They're half asleep today. They're very quiet, very, very quiet.
Who thinks it should be Luke Barker in the GT86? Who thinks it should be Arunas? Oh, you're not biased at all, are you? And who thinks it should be a one more time?
No, they definitely don't want it one more time. That whole crew over there.
It's not up to you guys.
Well, there we go. It's going to be one vote of a one more time from Peden. Rich and James, what do they say? Rich says Luke Barker. James says one more time. It's going to be a one more time. They're going at it again. James, we fire it over to you. It sounded like a bit of a pub brawl over there because there was a lot of I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that going on.
It's really actually simpler than it seemed, to be honest, Ian. Essentially, if you look at each run, the chase driver made mistakes. So when Arunas was chasing, he made errors coming through 4 to the second zone to 5, got his car totally where he didn't need to be, was almost level, and boxed himself in there. When roles were reversed, Luke did a really strong entry, but too strong. He immediately boxed himself in, gave him nowhere to run, and ended up running really shallow through 2 and 3. Ironically, if he hadn't have done that, Arunas's line lead to lead wasn't as good and was actually off of clip point 2. If Luke had just been half a car length later on his initiation, that almost certainly would have gone through to Luke. But error to error, I think overall I want to see a clear decision from them.
So there we go, a clear decision needed. So them guys go back to the paddock, refuel, retire and reset, ready to go again. We move it along to the next battle in our Funk Motorsport Grade 8. It will be Bagsy to take on JJ Stevens. And JJ Stevens would have been thinking, well, this isn't the weekend that I thought I was going to have. I'm going to sit alongside a guy that's travelled all around the world drifting in multiple countries, and here he is back in our homeland, and I get to take him around the track for a top 8 battle.
Yeah, I reckon the nerves in JJ Stevens now will be rattling, honestly, because he was nervous as it was on our pit walk, never mind now when he's sat next to, like you say, Steve, that's been all over the world. Thumbs up from Bagsy. No doubt there'll have been a thumbs up from JJ across to Steve to say, come on, let's go and do this, and JJ gets the jump out of the gate. He knows how to use that chicane. Bagsy comes thundering down the straight into that first corner. Bagsy up on that high line. JJ Stevens, he will have the foot absolutely buried in that R34. Steve gets through clip 3 sideways out to the clipping zone, and then a quick transition into clipping point 4, and JJ is there. JJ is right on his door, and he comes across the line. JJ Stevens bringing the fight to Bagsy here at round 3 of the UKDC at Teesside.
Yeah, nice run there from JJ Stevens. Not worried about Bagsy whatsoever. Nice dive on the initiation. Held on to it. Bagsy had a really nice lead line that opened the door for JJ to get up close and personal. JJ Stevens looking for the side and the rear bumper of that PS13. And now Bagsy gets to try and repay the favour, that immaculate R34. Well, it might end up with a few tyre marks at the end of this one. Carl Farrar's car took some damage from Bagsy. He's a man possessed at the moment, and he's on an absolute flyer. Looking for a podium. He didn't get one in Driftland. Can he get one here at Teesside Autodrome? Thumbs up all round. JJ Stevens off the line, nerves and adrenaline pumping through his body right now. Bagsy side by side, staring him down as they come through past the judging tower. Fires in on initiation. Bagsy goes for the front wheel. JJ Stevens, left foot brakes, goes up on the hill. You can see Bagsy shallowing up the angle, looking for the proximity. On the rear bumper he goes. Bagsy looks for the side of JJ Stevens. R34 locks up the front wheel, goes for the door as they transition in front of the judging tower. Bagsy back into it again. JJ Stevens on an absolute flyer, but Bagsy's on the door across the line.
And Steve
took the wing mirror and the GoPro clean off the car. Wow, look at that. Bagsy holding his wing mirror back on again. That close to the back bumper as he smashed the wing mirror off the car. Wow.
Wow.
So there we go. Judges getting so fired up on that one. Everyone incredibly excited. There we go. So wing mirror took off of Bagsy's car. Super aggressive on the back end of JJ Stevens' car. We wait for the decision to come in. Here we go. 1 vote for Bagsy. 2 votes for Bagsy. Bagsy gets the win, advances through to the final 4. James, you're chomping at the bit to say something. Let me know what you're thinking.
Okay, so you hear me bang on about I want to see a clear-cut winner. I want to judge the best of the best. When I give the briefing to the drivers, I clearly say to them, please get proximity, but not at the cost of constant dive. So that really winds me up. When they dive, lose it, dive, lose it. If you're going to make a dive and you're going to make it stick for proximity, that for me is the ultimate in a drift battle. You sacrifice that initial hit from Steve. You saw him right on the door, but he kept it and he forced it, and he didn't have to make non-stop corrections to do it. For me, that is the definition of a drift battle. Everybody record that and play it back all day. That's Drift Score 101.
Well, there we go. Drift Score 101. Look at JJ Stevens. He's absolutely pumped. Bagsy's given JJ Stevens the wing mirror. He said, buddy, yeah, you can have that as a souvenir because that was an incredible battle there. I don't know if these guys go. No, they don't even know the decision. There we go. Bagsy gets the result. JJ Stevens says, do you know what? I don't care what way it went because I just had an absolute blast. Hats off.
You can just see the way his body language.
Yeah, JJ Stevens. Do you know what? Hats off to JJ and the team because they've had a rough year so far, and I think that's a bit of redemption. You know, going into the Funk Motorsport Grade 8, battling Bagsy, and JJ will take that memory forever. Ladies and gentlemen, as they come past, give them a round of applause. Teesside, it was Bagsy and JJ Stevens.
Yeah, definitely. No, JJ can definitely hold his head up high for that one. Yeah, I mean, that was, yeah. I mean, it just shows you, though, how we're going up against somebody like Steve, who's been across the world driving drift cars. And, yeah, JJ Stevens holding his own there against Bagsy. And, yeah, I hope him and the team, and I hope Christian is watching at home and Jojo, and absolutely loving the fact that JJ's just done an absolute epic battle with Bagsy. So, yeah, give JJ a round of applause. He is one very happy driver right now.
Yeah, the team will be over the moon with that result, you know. And like I say, tough year so far for those guys, but they finally got some redemption. We go back to the one more time. Oh, no, so we don't. We move it along, sorry, to the next battle. It will be Justina Snorkas to take on Hayden Crookshank. Justina Snorkas in the blue BMW E36, higher qualifier in 6th place. Crookshank down in 14th. He will lead out Crookshank. Crookshank, well, he hasn't had it easy so far in this top 16. Been pushed from pillar to post by Tom van Beek. Oh, and almost a full start. Justina Snorkas, I think he forgot what he was meant to be doing there. Comes off the line. Hayden Crookshank had to wait to get himself back into that one. A little bit of separation. And Justina Snorkas fires in, but he's going to go way too wide. Oh, wow! What a big fire off the circuit for Justina Snorkas. Almost ends up in the tyre wall. As Hayden Crookshank finishes off the run. And that car violently spinning around as Justina Snorkas got the wheel into the gravel. Hayden Crookshank finishes up the run unscathed.
Yeah,
that was an incredible, incredible spin.
And looking at the movement of Justina's cars, I would safely say that he. Let's hope that's just a puncture.
I think it's a double D-bead. I think he D-beaded both tyres on that. So Justina Snorkas going to make his way back to the paddock. He will be able to use one of his 5-minute rules. Let's take a look back at the replay. Oh, we was going to go for a replay. We're just waiting for the replay as we see Justinus making his way off track.
So yeah, so that will no doubt be a 5-minute rule for Justinus. So I think we've got one of our crew going down so that we know when the 5-minute rule starts. Just so that you know, if you haven't watched drifting before, those of you at home or those of you on the bank, the driver will have 5 minutes from when they start working on the car in the pit area to then start making his way back up to the start line. They're allowed one 5-minute rule in the top 16 up to the top 4, and they can only use one 5-minute rule. But obviously, Justinus, we need to make sure that car's fit for purpose as well.
Yeah, of course. So our marshal will be down there. There we go. Let's take a look back at the replay. Let's see where it all went wrong for Justinus Snorkas. A little bit sleepy on the line, Justinus. Maybe enjoying the cooler weather today here at Teesside Autodrome. Sun's still shining, but a little breeze making it perfect weather for everybody here at the track, on the track, in the cars and attending. Look at this. Justinus Snorkas goes wide. Look, you can see the car starts to wash. I wonder if he DB'd straight away. I wonder if he DB'd before he went off. That was such a violent whip round of the car. So there we go. Justinus Snorkas will go down to the paddock to change tyres on at the back end of that car. And I do believe we may move it along to the next battle, which will potentially be Ryan Hughes to take on Stefanov.
Yeah.
So, no, we're going to go back to the one more time battle between Arunas Nomantes and Luke Barker. So there we go. Luke Barker and Arunas line up, ready to do battle one more time. Judges couldn't split them, so we decided to run them again. Barker, the higher qualifier, sits in the lead position. Arunas ready to give chase. Both guys felt each other out. We could get an incredible battle right now. Tyres smoked from the back end of the E46 of Arunas. They come screaming down. Arunas not allowing Barker to get away this time. Lets him initiate, then goes for the dive up into the door. Arunas on the throttle nice and early. He knows the pace. In that GT86, they come down. Barker absolutely flying. You can see Arunas shortcuts the circuit, looks for the side of that GT86, and he's there this time. Transitions through the smoke, looks once again for the passenger door. Can he find it? Squeezes the throttle. Arunas is on the side of Barker's car, but Barker's up and gone.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was a better run from Arunas in that chase position, considering his compared to his first run in that place. So I think. No, I'd be interested to see. I mean, Luke knows what he's up against. He will have seen Arunas' bonnet in his driver's door and his passenger door. So, no, I think Luke knows what he's up against with Arunas. Obviously, Arunas having an epic result up at Driftland in round 2 of the championship. Of course, we're to return here for round 4 in September. And then, obviously, we are at Silverstone in October for the final of our pro class. So off the line they go.
Yeah, they threw the chicane down. Barker this time knows what he needs to do. He made a massive mistake. Look at him onto the back bumper, dives up and to the side, flames are up from the back end of Barker's GT86, but Arunas is on a poor line. Arunas initiated way too early, trying to get away from Barker. Sacrifices outside zone 2, and that has opened the door for Barker. Barker's taken that opportunity. Now he dives through the smoke. Up and to the side he goes. Barker noses that GT86 in, throws the angle at it. He's going to be very careful to hold on to it. And I think there was contact over the line, maybe, or the back end of Arunas' car just deciding to eject. There we go. He's just going to dump that bumper there, just out of the way. So they make their way back to the line to receive the decision as Arunas just lightened his car a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt the drivers will be out of the cars again to congratulate each other on another epic run, pair of runs.
Well, we've got one person in the final 4 already, that is Bagsy, but who will he be battling to go through for a spot in the final? Will it be Arunas or will it be Luke Barker?
Again, judges requesting a replay for those of you at home or watching on the live stream here. This is the replay. Arunas smoking the tyres off the start line just because he knows he's got to do that to keep up with the immense power and grip of that GT86 of Luke. And the Tarmac Sports GT86, and Luke Barker, look there, in through the middle of clip 2, out to clip 3, and yet fairly in that box. Arunas, like I say, just cutting a little bit short on the inside of Luke. But there the proximity returns on the second hairpin from Arunas. And Arunas there, sticking it to Luke Barker's door. And only Luke just pulling a car length, no more than that on that first half of the battle.
I think this is going to be decided from a lead line perspective.
Yeah, I think that's what the judges are looking at, to see exactly.
Because I think Arunas initiated way too early. Look at this, look how early he was initiating there. And you see Barker waited and then had to reinitiate, but look how far
and
down.
Arunas left foot broke.
Yeah, look, Arunas way down, because he knew if he got on the left foot brake, it would have pushed the car back up the hill, but there was no way he was going to get out to outside zone 2, and that big points deducted. And that opened the door for Luke Barker. And you can see on this transition, Barker absolutely flying, no messing around. Gets himself into it, almost makes contact with the door, dives again, but then a big wobble here for Barker. Look, just about holds on to it.
Yeah, keeps it sideways though, just obviously very, very close. Very, very close.
So wait for the decision to come in.
Right, so should we just go straight? shall I just go straight to it and ask? Right, I'm going to ask Peden for your decision.
He doesn't want to give one.
He didn't want to tell me.
Just looks blankly. Oh, here we go. One vote for Luke Barker. Where does Peden go? Where does James go? Oh, and Luke Barker gets the win. Is it a split judging panel? No, it's unanimous. Luke Barker gets the win, advances through into the final 4 to face off against Bagsy. And once again, a tough decision from our judges. Yeah, James already knows. He slots the headset on. He says, I knew it was coming. I knew what was coming, James. Tough one again.
Yeah, it's really fine at points, but then we've already run them one more time. If you run the replays as we do, you can compare lead to lead, and sometimes that can make all the difference. Both of them on chase, again, were so aggressive, they were kind of boxing themselves in and putting their cars in a position they didn't need to. But if you look at the lead lines, Barker's was faultless. Arunas, short on 2, kind of didn't have the ideal line through the centre section as well. The only real negative was Luke put himself in a position that had almost a double bite as they come over the end. But for me, missing that on the lead, whilst also doing errors on chase from Arunas, means on the balance, Luke just edges it.
So there we go. Luke Barker gets the win, advances through to the final 4. Arunas, unfortunately, out of competition. And Luke Barker will face off against Bagsy for a spot in the final. Things are getting hot and heavy. We move it along. Hayden Crookshank to take on Justinus. Should be our next battle if we're going to go back to.
I'm going to just go off the mic and just ask race control whether or not Justinus has sorted out his car ready for this one more time.
So there we go. We're going to find out what is going on down there on the line. So there we go. Justinus Snorkas on the line, ready to go. It's the second run of the battle. Not one more time. I'm looking too far back. So
I won't ask if he's made it.
He's already made it, yeah. So there we go. Off the line they go through the chicane. And it is, sorry, my bad. It is the second half of the battle between these two guys. Justinus Snorkas getting a wheel off track. Was it a DB that forced him to go wide? He's going to go wide again, but he holds on to it. Hayden Crookshank knows he just needs to put in a safe lead line.
Oh, and Justinus is off.
Fires it off track.
And I think he's done the same again.
He's done the same again. Oh, he's shattered the wheel this time.
Ah, the wheel's broken.
Yeah, he shattered the wheel this time, so there we go. Look at that. Look, the wheel has shattered and slipped past itself on Justinus Snorkas' car. So we hold the track. Give him a round of applause, Teesside. This guy absolutely tearing his car in half this weekend for your entertainment, for my entertainment, for you guys sitting at home watching a live stream. Justinus Snorkas, such a shame, absolutely flying. Look at that, he throws his hands in the air, he says, well, I'm a man of a few words, but I let my talking get done on the track. Look at that wheel, absolutely destroyed.
Ruined.
Yeah, destroyed. So our recovery guy out on track now. Going to take him away. And while we got this quick break, we're going to have a quick Thank you to our sponsors, Control, for putting on the live stream, Asnu Fuel Injectors, Driven Racing Oil, Corbo Seats, Funk Motorsport, Farstar, Dorenza, Garage D and Hell Performance. And there you go, decisions in, unanimous. Hayden Crookshank gets the win and advances through and takes it in to the final four. Justinas out of competition, a DB'd potentially twice there, put him in jeopardy.
Yeah, so while we get Justinus's car off the circuit, we will just go to a quick ad break. Join us.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.
So there we go, a quick word from our sponsors as we watch Justinas Snorkas' car being dragged up onto the recovery truck. Look at that, absolutely destroyed wheel, and our track staff taking home a little bit of a present this weekend, collected a piece of that broken wheel off the circuit, and just going to show you that car pushed from pillar to post this weekend. It's just a shame to see Justinas go out of competition like that. Was looking really, really strong. Oh, look at that, and you can see it struggling to drive it. And the winch just struggling to pull the car up where it's binding on the wheel and binding on the back of the truck. So there we go, Justinas' car on the recovery truck and ready to be removed off the edge of the circuit. And we will be moving along with our next battle, which will be Ryan Hughes to take on Stefanov.
So yeah, the top qualifier against 9th place qualifier. So the Garage 500 driver, which is Ryan Hughes. Make sure you check out those guys on Instagram. And Stefanov, the Dream Car Giveaways sponsored car, the top qualifier. So yeah, Ryan up against it here with the 9th place qualifier.
Yeah, Ryan Hughes, he is up against it, but you know what? I've got a feeling this is going to be a tough battle. There we go, and Luke will face off against Bagsy in the final four for a spot in the final. Hayden Crookshank makes his way into the final four. Who will be joining him? Will it be Ryan Hughes? Will it be your first place qualifier, Stefanov? He's got an incredible lead line. Just needs to hold it together as we see the car up on the truck, almost ready to make his way off circuit. And it will be clear to go with the next battle of the day. Those guys are going to be warming up their tyres in just a few seconds' time. And forget, if you're enjoying all the action here at the UK Drift Championship, we'll be back in September for round 4 of the championship right here at Teesside Autodrome. And then we head to Silverstone for our pro final. That's right, Silverstone. These guys will be firing their cars down over 110 miles an hour into Brooklands and Luffield and putting on a show in front of thousands of people. So there we go. Justina Snorkas gets a round of applause from everybody here at Teesside Autodrome as he makes his way on the back of that truck and back to the paddock.
Yep, and obviously Aidan Crookshank taking the win in that battle, obviously, after issues with Justinus.
So there he goes. Still got a smile on his face. That's the most important thing. Still having fun, still enjoying himself. And Justina Snorkas there. Not the end he wanted, but there we go. In the background you can see Stefanov warming up the tyres on the back of that Dream Car Giveaways S13 as Ryan Hughes stares down the track saying, well, I'm going up against first place qualifier. I know I've got someone to lean on. I know I've got an incredible lead line to lean on, but this guy is fast and he's determined to take a podium this weekend. Can Ryan Hughes, in this incredible S14A, take down a man that has been unstoppable so far? Well, we're about to find out. Ryan Hughes warms up the tyres on his car, pulls to the line. We look all around the tower, we get the thumbs up and the hands up, and the thumbs up from our start line marshal. It will be Stefanov to lead out Ryan Hughes for the final spot in the final four. Here we go, down through the gears they go. Stefanov with that big flick initiation. Ryan Hughes waits for him to make his move. Ryan Hughes goes for the dive on the door, backs out ever so slowly. Stefanov very wide, almost goes off the edge of the circuit. You can see Ryan Hughes hanging on and waiting to see if Stefan was going to drop off track. Ryan Hughes doing a very good job, shallows up the angle on the first hairpin. Now he's going to pop through the smoke. Is he on the door? He's going to go for it. Stefanov fires that car on angle, hammers on the throttle. Ryan Hughes gives it everything he's got.
Yeah, a great lead run there from Stefan. Absolutely. Like you said, it looked like he was going to fall off track up on the bank, but obviously foot down, buried the throttle, and obviously with the slope on South Bank Corner, you don't realise just how steep that banking is until you actually drive it, and you can use that to your advantage. Keep your foot flat to the floor, let the springs compress, and it gives you that extra bit of grip once you've nailed it to keep it online.
Well, there we go, Ryan Hughes back to the start line. You can see Stefanov there just disappearing in the background, and we spoke about that earlier, a little area for these guys to go to, a dedicated area to cool their car down with water. So they're allowed to spray some water on the radiators, most of them now in the rear of the cars, and they spray the intercoolers just to try and drop those air intake temperatures. And Stefanov taking use of that. They do have 2 minutes to get back to the start line, and Stefanov taking all of that as Ryan Hughes punts the chicane out of the way. He says, give me all the room I need to try and get away from Stefanov. On the limiter goes Ryan Hughes, fires in South Bank. Stefanov looking for the door at S14A to get high up on the bank. Stefanov gets himself into it, now waits for the move as they come down the hill. Stefanov goes for the dive, makes it work, washes that S13 right up onto the side of Ryan Hughes, S14A. They transition into the final outer zone. Stefanov onto the door, one more big squeeze as Hughes now starts to drive away from Stefanov.
Yeah, great effort from Ryan there. But I mean, for me, Stefan showing why he was top qualifier, put it to the door of Ryan most of the way around the circuit. And yeah, it's still a fantastic run. Obviously, the DY engines powered S14 of Ryan against top qualifier Stefan.
Yeah, so judges looking at the replay of this one and going for the first run first, of course. Long handbrake drag initiation from Stefanov. You can see Ryan Hughes down the bank, shallows up the angle. And Ryan Hughes, rightly so, waited because assuming that Stefanov was going to go way too wide on outside zone 2. Look at the angle that Stefanov carries into that outside zone 4. And he transitions back. This is where you can see Ryan Hughes sacrifices the line, sacrifices the angle, jumps up onto the door. Stefanov, though, squeezes the throttle, turns the screw and drives across the line. So guys out the cars, having a chat. Ryan Hughes probably thinking this is quite surreal in the pro class. Driving here this weekend against a man that is top qualifier, an incredible driver as well, Stefanov. And Ryan Hughes fired into that first outside zone. Waited, though, for the car to can press up onto that cambered south bank, gets on the throttle, drops himself down on the inside, and you can see Stefanov. Look at the way he lets the car wash on angle all the way down the hill onto the side of Ryan Hughes. S14 transitions back. Stefanov dials the angle on, cuts the circuit. You see him on the foot brake, almost making contact with Ryan Hughes' car. But now look at Ryan Hughes, squeezes the throttle, and he drives away from Stefanov. Tough decision for the judges, and Stefanov probably thinking he didn't expect to see that fight from Ryan Hughes.
But again, another good, clean battle, which is exactly what we want to see.
Yep, these guys, no dirty games, no messing around, just a clean battle from both of them. Judges still deliberating this one, and this is for the final spot in the final four. Barker to take on Bagsy, Hayden Crookshank. Who will he be taking on? Will it be Stefanov? Will it be Ryan Hughes? Decisions drop in from our judges in the tower. The graphic will pop up on the screen. You guys watching at home, here we go. 1 vote for Stefanov, 2 votes for Stefanov. Stefanov gets the win, advances through into the final four. And a tough one for the judges, but Stefanov doing enough.
The drivers shaking hands, and I think Ryan.
Oh, he's just overwhelmed.
Had an idea.
Yeah.
No, fantastic to see Ryan.
Fair play to Ryan Hughes, though. Look, first time driving on this level, in this competition, and Ryan Hughes finds himself in the Funk Motorsport Grade 8, battling, and even questions the judges on that one. Even questions the judges and says, well, look, I'm going to bring the fight. I'm going to stick it to the door. So, just a few errors, judges saying, and Ryan Hughes just not taking advantage of the errors that crept into Stefanov's run there. So, there we go. Stefanov makes his way off the circuit back to the grid. Fresh pair of tyres on the back of that car, and he'll be back out to battle Hayden Crookshank. Ryan Hughes makes his way off circuit. A very, very happy man today. So there we go. Final four decided. Barker to take on Bagsy, Crookshank to take on Stefanov. And no messing around, we are back down on the start line, and it will be a big battle. Luke Barker currently leading the championship standings. Bagsy hungry for some more points in the championship. This is the opportunity for Bagsy to try and knock Barker down a peg or two here at the UK Drift Championship 2021. Bagsy warms up the tyres on the back of that Monster Energy PS13. Barker sits on the line nervous. He knows that Bagsy's on his absolute A game today. So there we go, on the line. Barker looks across at Bagsy. Bagsy looks across at Barker. Thumbs up from our start line marshal, hands down. Here they go. Bagsy almost jumping the start line, knows he can make as much use of it as possible. He knows the last time Barker got ahead of him. Bagsy goes for a brave dive on the door. Bagsy goes for it, catches a whole load of understeer. Bagsy catches a whole load of understeer and has to straighten and bail out of it. Barker holds on to it. And now Barker drives away. Hammers down, Barker foot to floor. Bagsy gets himself back into the fight, but too much. Too many mistakes for Bagsy there. Wow.
I mean, understeer all the way from clip 2, right round South Bank corner. How on earth that didn't go off track or chuck him into a spin, I have no idea. But I think Steve got away lucky there, I think.
Yeah, that was lucky to have no damage, to have no contact between the two cars, and how Bagsy held it on the track. Those front tyres must be absolutely tortured. Bagsy getting a horrendous amount of understeer, and we see that yesterday. We see that creep in yesterday as the temperature started to drop on track, the wind, the breeze picking up now. Is this all playing into the hands of Luke Barker? The championship looking stronger and stronger for him. They come off the line, Bagsy to lead, Barker to give chase. Bagsy needs Barker to have a massive mistake right now to swing this the other way. As Bagsy fires in, he's going to go in as hard as he can. Bagsy's car once again catches understeer. He's on the foot brake this time, but Luke Barker not deterred. He fires down. He has Bagsy's name. He wants to get aside of that S13 as they transition back into that final outer zone. Barker through the smoke. Onto the door goes Barker as Bagsy and Barker bring it across the line.
Yeah, and I've asked for a replay for that first run.
Yeah.
I want to see that understeer that Steve suffered on that first run. I mean, I think the decision will be fairly formal, but we will just watch this replay of this first run and just see the issue that Steve had on this initiation. We know he got the jump and initiated so early, And then at that point there, just even before clip 2, look, chronic understeer from Steve all the way around South Bank corner and just gets it reinitiated for 3. But by that time, Luke's like a cat on a hot tin roof. He's just out of there and gone. I mean, Steve cuts the track to get proximity again as they come over the finish line. But again, it's I think it's a fairly straightforward for the for the judges on this one. I mean, we've heard James say that he likes to see a straightforward decision.
I mean, you say that, but they are chronically watching the replay. This is the second time they've watched the replay of this run. I wonder if they're trying to see fault in Luke Barker's driving on the initiation. Yeah, look at Bagsy's understeer. Look at Bagsy. Just there's nothing he can do to get out of that understeer. Wow, such a shame. Such a shame for Bagsy. That was an incredible dive. So we go back down to the start line. Those guys waiting impatiently for the decision. And I think Luke Barker's just took one step inside.
And we're just seeing the replay of the second run of the two battles, which obviously we'll see where Bagsy was leading, and he's deep into one, and Luke absolutely on the rear quarter of Bagsy as they come round South Bank corner into clip 3. Steve's perfectly on line. Luke throws that GT86 on the door of the Monster Energy PS13. And again, Luke on the passenger door of Steve's car as they come round and over the finish line.
God, these two just go at it every single event, don't they? Every round, Barker and Bagsy just cannot hold it off. There we go, 1 vote in for Barker. 2 votes for Luke Barker. Barker gets the win, advances through to the final. Bagsy goes off to face off for 3rd and 4th place. 1 shot at the podium. Barker absolutely over the moon. Look at that. He knows, and Barker says, this is it. I'm almost there. I'm almost the 2021 UK Drift Champion. He knows what is ahead, and he gets 2 shots at the podium now. Well, Bagsy has to go back to the pits, reassess the situation and work out what caused that understeer on that first turn. So, there we go. Barker into the final, Bagsy into the playoff for 3rd and 4th place. But who will it be battling him? Hayden Crookshank now to take on Stefanov for the other half of the final and the other half of the 3rd and 4th place playoff.
Yep, so we will see Steve again in the 3rd, 4th place runoff. Now, a shame for Bagsy getting understeer, but, you know, this game of drifting, you win some, you lose some, and you roll with the punches, and that's what Steve will have to do. But obviously, he will be still aiming to get onto the podium with that 3rd and 4th place runoff, and Luke Barker guaranteed. I would say, yeah, he will be guaranteed.
Guaranteed a podium. What one is it going to be, though? First or second?
I think he'll be guaranteed to still be leading the championship now.
Yes.
With the contenders out, Arunas is out. Bagsy's not going to beat him, obviously, because he's going to be in that 3rd and 4th place runoff.
Yep, so all the points now swinging in the favour of Luke Barker. Looks like the championship is almost within distance of reaching, and we come back here in September for round 4. What can he do then? Well, we move it along to the next one. Crookshank to take on Stefanov.
All right, apparently we are currently waiting for Stefan, presumably for tyres. These drivers using a pair of tyres per battle. So, yeah, once again, a big, huge thanks to our sponsors, Fast R. Obviously, media outlet. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook for some of the best content you are going to see from around the world. Recently had a Bentley Continental GT over at Pikes Peak in America. Sadly, the weather conditions didn't allow them to do a complete run, but still, they had an absolutely fantastic result with that car. Dorenza said about it yesterday. Make sure you check out their website for the MVT intercoolers. A unique design by Dorenza, much improved on standard intercoolers. So if you're running a turbo, make sure you check out Dorenza. They also do other components such as engine mounts, wheel spacers, springs, you name it. Make sure you check out Dorenza. Garage D, speak to Julian Dara at Garage D if you have any Japanese car and looking for parts, whether it's upgrades or standard parts. Julian usually has it hashtag in stock. Hell Performance for all your fluid lines, whether it be brake lines, water hoses, etc., etc. Make sure you check out Hell Performance. Funk Motorsport, heat management specialists. yeah, if you've got turbos and you want to keep the heat under control, make sure you contact the guys at Funk. Corbo seats keep you in your car in a safe position. Driven Racing Oils for all the lubricants you could need, and ASNU for fuel injectors.
So there we go. They are our partners, and without them, none of this would be possible. We get the thumbs up all around the tower. Crookshank to chase down Stefanov. Well, this is a big one for a spot in the final to take on Luke Barker for a spot on the podium. Who's it going to be? Stefanov looking stronger, the stronger contender. The higher qualifier in the lead position. Stefanov through the gears, down he comes. Big initiation from Stefanov. Crookshank starts to work that turtle chaser up onto the bank. All backs out of it ever so slightly. Opens the door for Stefanov. Now finds some pace as Hayden Crookshank gets on the throttle, looks for the side of that yellow and blue S13. They transition in the centre of the circuit. Stefanov looking strong and consistent as he absolutely smokes out Teesside. Crookshank on the back bumper.
Fantastic run from both drivers. Hayden there. That car set up really, really grippy. You can see it leaning as he comes into the first hairpin. The car, all the weight of that car on that front left wheel as they go into that corner. And yeah, trying to take it to Stefan. Stefan there, like Ian said, we're allowing him. He's got slight cooling issues with that car, so that he literally just goes off track slightly, and they're just spraying the intercooler and the radiator with a bit of water just to cool it down. Obviously, the temperatures yesterday were horrendous, really, really hot. Nice, a little bit cooler today, a little bit of breeze. Just allowing the cars to be a little bit cooler, but just playing it safe. Obviously, we want these guys to go home with the cars as they arrive. So they're back on the start line. Hayden Crookshank in that, running 750 horsepower this weekend. Mark Kelly, his spotter, will be up on the banking, telling him that Stefan had a really good run in the first one. So Hayden Crookshank, Stefanov head off the start line, down into South Bank corner. Hayden Crookshank in this year, it's up high on the banking. Stefanov, shallow line from Hayden. Hayden running the perfect line, leans into the clipping point 3, and he's running the perfect line on 3, but Stefanov now transitions into clipping point 4. Now he's got to put it on the door of Hayden Crookshank as they come through the final clipping point. Wow, what a fantastic pair.
Yeah, incredible stuff there. Stefanov just waiting to make the right time for the dive up into the door. Incredible driving Stefanov. Just a little wavy up on the top of the bank in the chase position from Stefanov. As we take a look back at the replay of both runs, Stefanov's lead. And Hayden Crookshank's chase from the first half of the run. So Stefanov with that nice flick initiation. You can see him wave of that car from left to right. Look at Crookshank though, no messing around. Straight on the handbrake, straight up on the door, but then he's shallow. He slows down. Crookshank waits for Stefanov to set the car up, then gets back into it. Dives down on the inside. Stefanov carrying big angle into outside zone 4. Just dials the angle and makes it work.
Just offline though. I think when you watch Hayden's lead run, when we see the second replay, I think you'll find that
he's
Hayden
wider.
Was a lot wider, which is what the judges are expecting them to get to that touch and go zone from 3 to 4. So we get back to the. We just a quick look at the guys on the line while we get back onto the other replay for the second run. And yeah, just watch Hayden's line as he comes down from 3 into the hairpin. I thought Hayden was wider. However, Hayden made that error, like you explained, just going into clipping point 2, where he just hesitated a little bit too much. Too much,
yeah, just too much. And look at this from Stefanov, not really paying too much attention to Stefanov, to be honest with you. Crookshank way high on the bank, really nice lead line up to this point. Comes down, look at that, look how wide he is, almost to the outer edge of the circuit, that white line denoting the edge of the track. And that opened the door for Stefanov. That gave him the opportunity to have good proximity because he was on a much nicer lead line.
And Stefan diving in that inside corner off the line, or they're allowed to run offline if they're within 3 metres or a car length of the car. So the judges, James is rubbing his beard under his chin, thinking, what do we do here?
What do we do here? Yeah, a tough call from...
Peden's biting his chunk. I can't see him for James.
No, so these guys, tough decision to come from all of these guys. And no doubt we will be going to James to get a verdict on the decision. Could it be Crookshank? Could it be Stefanov? Is it going to be a one more time?
So is the... I'm just that in my head. I mean, obviously, I'm just commentating what I'm seeing. I'm thinking, does the mistake from Hayden on the slight initiation going towards clip 2, does that overrun the fact that Stefan was shy of the line on the first hairpin.
Yeah, and look at this. Look,
what I'm thinking.
Crookshank waving his finger in the air for a 1-1
Oh, Hayden. Right, boys and girls out there, who thinks Hayden Crookshank should take the win?
Yeah, they're quite. Oh, here we go. Votes are in. One vote for Hayden Crookshank. Peden and James not dropped their decision in yet.
So who thinks Stefan's got the win? You're biased, I know you are.
Well, there's one vote for Hayden Crookshank. Where does the rest of it hang in the balance at the moment?
Who thinks it should be a one more time? Split decision out there.
Oh, 2 votes for Hayden Crookshank. Unanimous. Hayden Crookshank gets the win, advances through to the final. James, we have to come to you. Hayden Crookshank doing the better job, getting the win. That means Stefanov goes into the 3rd and 4th place playoffs against Bagsy. Barker and Crookshank at it. Another tough one.
Yes, it is, Ian. Rightly or wrongly, my view is that on lower order battles, I'm happy to see it one more time if it's really, really close. When you get up to the very top end, if someone has done something better, but only by a fraction, you have to reward that. Now, I scored both those, 5-all, 5-all, like an earlier decision we were talking about. But when you watch the replays, Hayden's lead line is a definite better lead line and more chaseable. So Stefanov got a really good chase, principally thanks to such a great line by Hayden, and we're rewarding that, and Hayden goes through.
So there we go, Hayden getting the win, advancing through to the final to go against Luke Barker, and well, things stacking up now. So we will allow Stefanov to go back to the paddock to get some tyres on the back of that car. Bagsy down the back end of that grid, ready to face off 3rd and 4th place battle coming up. Hope you guys are enjoying it at home. I certainly am here. Don't forget, we are back here in September for round 4 Pro 2 final round. The championship will be decided for our Pro 2 drivers there, and our pros will gain a few more points. So, ladies and gentlemen, for you guys here in attendance, you'll have to hold on for a few minutes. For you guys at home, while we wait for Stefanov to get his tyres changed, we're going to go to a quick ad break.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, clouds gathering over a now chilly Teesside Autodrome. And I'm not scared to say it. We've had sunshine for the last 2 days. It's still absolutely bone dry. It's still warm to a degree, but everyone's kind of searching for the coat and the hoodie now. It's getting that point in the day. Sun's setting here at Teesside, and we are getting closer and closer and closer to find out who is going to win our Round 3 Pro event. Luke Barker looking strong. Stefanov and Bagsy will face off first for the 3rd and 4th place playoff. Hayden Crookshank looks like he's got that car absolutely dialed down now, Mark.
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, he was a last minute entry, as well was Stefan. He was umming and ahhing. He was hoping to come along with a friend, but he said, I'm going to come and have a go and see what I can do. I mean, obviously we saw him at Three Sisters at the beginning of the year, and he crashed badly, didn't he? Yep. The tyre wall at Three Sisters. So no, to come back with a top qualifying result, obviously you get 3 bonus points in the championship standings, whatever. So he's going to come away from this event and he's going to be up there in the championship stands. In Bagsy, again, he's going to be kicking himself with that understeer problem. I mean, that burnout box that we've got just before the start line, that's not only a chance for the drivers to warm up their back tyres, it's also that opportunity to warm up to the fronts. Just makes me wonder if, those front tyres could have been warmed up a little bit more. But, we take it and that's it, it's all she wrote. And then obviously Hayden Crookshank, he will be absolutely buzzing. And the chance to go up against Mr. Barker, championship leader, championship contender. Yeah, I mean, we'll check the points after this weekend and see where we're at with Luke. He may have run away with it. He might have run away with it. That might be it. He might become our UKDC champion, but obviously we'll get that confirmed in the week and get it announced if that's the case. But then obviously looking forward, we've got Silverstone. We've got back here 3rd and 4th or 4th and 5th of September. So make sure you get yourself some tickets for that one. We will be running the same layout, maybe move the clipping points around a little bit just to make it
we've got a few ideas. Judges were talking last night over a cold pint of beer in the bar. They said, we're going to move a few of the clipping points. We're going to add something on the initiation so that you can't straight line handbrake. That could be a thing. Okay. So we could end up with either a lot of crashes or some very spectacular driving. But yes,
spectacular driving.
We are going to definitely mix it up. We're going to move some of them clipping points around, maybe change the track ever so slightly, just give it a little bit of a different layout. Who knows what we're going to come up with for when we come back here in September on the 3rd and 4th. Yeah, and we are going to absolutely blow the doors off this place. We're going to bring it all. We're going to bring the whole shooting match to that event, our Pro 2 final event as well here. We will crown our Pro 2 champion that weekend. And then those top 4 guys in the championship will get the chance to drive at Silverstone in October in our Pro final.
Yep, that's the car show tracks. So there will be between 12 and 15,000 people at that show, no doubt, this year. Obviously, due to what's been going on with the pandemic, you can imagine that tracks this year will be absolutely packed out. And every single time the drifters head onto track, it's like watching ants swarm to the trackside to see the guys, like Ian said earlier, down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. I think the record that we had during one of the Jap Fest events was something like 120 miles an hour on initiation. I remember seeing Ollie Bolton going in there absolutely backwards and pulling it off, doing some incredible runs. So tracks on the 3rd of October. And then we have the Matsuri to look forward to at the end of October at Anglesey Circuit, the last weekend in October. That's the event where everybody wants to go. That's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be the party to end the season. Over at Anglesey. Details on that will be coming on their website, I've no doubt, at driftmatsuri.com.
Very soon, very soon. Looking forward to that one. Looking forward to getting back to Matsuri. Looking forward, no doubt in my mind, to getting back here in September, because I know, like today, it's going to be absolutely electric, an electric crowd here in Teesside, and I know we're going to see some incredible driving once again. So we are just waiting for Stefanov, and he does have a 5-minute rule available, so if he does need to take that, he can take it, but he will have a clock started. So we're just trying to find out if Stefanov is making his way back to the start line. So now Bagsy took his car back to the paddock, because Bagsy's just decided, I just need a quick, need to go back to the paddock to get a quick refreshment, maybe.
Yeah, but it's certainly going to be an interesting final 2 battles, Bagsy and Stefan.
Yeah,
Come on.
Bagsy's going to have to push hard. Bagsy's going to have to push hard because maybe there's an issue with that car. Maybe he found that as he drove round the West Bank down to queue up. Maybe he understands why there was that understeer problem. So Bagsy.
But are you a betting man?
Sometimes.
Bagsy or Stefan?
No, I'm not betting on that one.
Oh, come on. Right, shall we ask the crowd? Right, who thinks Stefan is going to take the win over Bagsy?
Yeah, the Stefanov crew are definitely going to cheer for Stefan.
Who thinks Bagsy's going to take the win over Stefan?
No. Oh, no. There's no Bagsy fans in the house today. No Bagsy fans in the house. Not even Podium. He's not a Bagsy fan anymore. No, he shakes his head. He's like, not that guy. Not that guy. So there we go. Oh, Matt from Control. He's a Bagsy fan. No, not anymore. No one's Bagsy fans anymore. No one wants to be Bagsy's mate anymore. I have to, because I have to work with Stephen every day. So, I kind of... But I do stay impartial on the commentary, so don't worry about that. I'm not biased in any means of the way. I would tell him when he's bad at driving as well, to his face. So
will I.
So there we go. We are just waiting to get those two guys back on the grid, trying to find out what is going on from our clock. Called Steve in the corner. So they're just attaching 1 million GoPros to both the cars, because so they're assuming that Bagsy's going to crash into Stefanov. This is what I'm assuming is going to happen.
But while I've got the opportunity, I would like to thank everybody that's turned up here today to witness what you've seen, and those of you that are watching at home, I hope you're enjoying it. And a huge thank you to our media that are here to capture it, including the guys from CTRL who are providing us with our live stream, and of course our staff members who make these events possible. We've got Sarah and Stewie on the gate. We've got Stevie up here on the race control. We've got Pete and Chunk and Rich. We've got Scott, who makes sure that they're all cars and safe. We've got Stacey on scoring, and Mr. Waddington and myself. So a big shout out to everybody that makes it possible, including Dale, Brad and Paul, who are the guys that look after the drivers and make sure that they are all lined up ready to go when we want them to be. So a huge thank you to everybody, and of course Teesside Autodrome for allowing us to come and host the events here at Teesside Autodrome. A big thanks to Kat and Paul for allowing us to come here year on year, and it's always a pleasure to come up here to Teesside Autodrome. In the meantime, you can see on the live stream, and the boys and girls who are here on the banking, you can see Stefan in that Dream Car Giveaways car just warming up the tyres, ready to take the fight to Stephen Bagsy Biagioni in the Monster Energy PS13. And we hand it over to Steve to radio through to Dale. The judges are ready. We're ready. You ready on the banking? Right, there we go. Off the line we go.
Well, there we go. Stefanov through the chicane, down. Bagsy jumps it side to side with Stefanov as they come down. Stefanov goes for the flick. Bagsy goes for the dive onto the door. Stefanov locks up the front wheel. Bagsy into it, though. Bagsy into the groove this time. No understeer issues. Stefanov with a little wobble as he comes down way hot in outside zone 4. Look at this. Bagsy onto the door. He does not want to lose again. As Stefanov transitions, Bagsy onto the door, onto the wheel. Stefanov with an incredible lead as Bagsy jumps onto the side.
Wow. Amazing. This is why I love drifting, honestly.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, to see these guys go door to door, the amount of trust and respect for them two guys going into that corner so fast, so hard. They are literally inches apart going around this circuit, and it's just so impressive from these guys.
Yeah, absolutely incredible scenes there. Bagsy did a sterling job, and even our start line Marshall Dale gave him the international sign for. Wow, that was spicy. That was spicy. So Stefanov there, you can see it in the background, just takes a quick second to cool the car. We do allow him some time to cool that car down before he makes his way back to the start line, and he now has to chase down Bagsy. I'm on my feet. I know Teesside, most of you guys are on your feet. But before we run the final, I want to see everyone, if you can, on your feet for this one. Yeah, very, very insensitive. Yes, there we go. Stefanov on the line. Bagsy to lead. Stefanov to give chase. Can Stefanov repay the favour? Can he bring the fight? Can he bring the chase? Hands down. Stefanov off the line like a scolded cat. Bagsy through the gears, absolutely screaming away, and separation opens up as Bagsy fires in. Stefanov makes an error way down the bank, has to readjust and get himself back onto that qualifying line. Bagsy into outside zone 3. Full throttle from Bagsy. As Stefanov once again makes an error, trying to close the gap, trying to gain that proximity. Through the smoke comes Stefanov. Onto the door he goes as Bagsy brings them across the line. Teesside makes some noise.
Yeah, you can't help but applaud when it battles like that. You cannot help but applaud. Superb. Yeah, the one person I didn't mention, obviously, when I was thanking our staff and so on, is obviously Dale on the start line.
Yes.
He's been there all weekend. He's set every single pair of cars off every single car this weekend. Yeah, so huge thanks to Dale Bradley as well for his sterling work on the start line. So, back to the matter in hand.
Yeah, to the judges now, because we are not going to unveil this one live on the screen. We are going to wait. We're going to go to our head judge, James. Do we have a decision?
We certainly do.
So there we go.
Drifting won that one.
A drifting one, that one. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a decision. We are going to call that one down on the podium in front of the judging tower. We'll be greeting those drivers down there in a bit. We have a driven Racing Oils hard charger to give out as well, and a very deserved driver. So there we go. We're going to give that one out in a minute. Both of those guys get a round of applause from our start line, and they are going to make their way back round past you, back to the back of the grid. So ladies and gentlemen, as they come past you, please give them a huge round of applause. Bagsy and Stefanov, what a battle, what a weekend. And Bagsy's car comes away with this one battered and bruised, but looking strong as ever.
Yeah, superb run. So top qualifier, Stefan up against Bagsy in that third and fourth place battle, and just showing exactly what we came here to see. Yeah, a huge round of applause for Stefan, and arm out of the window. Of course, that left-hand drive car. So, yeah, huge respect to both drivers. Oh, Bagsy's hanging out of his car. Oh,
yeah, look at Bagsy, look.
His cap will end up falling off if he goes too fast. Yeah, so a round of applause for Bagsy as he goes off around the track. Very popular driver. And I believe he's heading to Europe next, I think.
Yeah, Bagsy heads out to the Drift Masters European Championship in a few weeks' time to Riga in Latvia, where we are head-to-head double event. It will be round 3 and 4. And I'll be out there on the commentary with David Egan, so don't forget to tune into that one. Up next, though, the final. Hayden Crookshank to take on Luke Barker. Luke Barker, your championship leader. He sits in the lead position. Hayden Crookshank takes a look across and says, well, this car, it finally works. Can I take down a man that's been unstoppable for the minute? Before we send him off the line, I need Teesside to make some noise! Yeah, that's more like it. I'm going to need one more of those before we end today. Stevie, I get the thumbs up all around. Let's go. Send them off the line. Barker to lead out. Hayden Crookshank for the final step on the podium. First place or second place? Who's going to take it? They're through the chicane, through the gears. Down they come. Barker been unstoppable so far. Look at the speed. He's turning up to 11 as he starts to drive away from Crookshank. Crookshank absolutely left in a cloud of smoke. Barker absolutely screams away. Crookshank looks for the shortcut through the smoke, just cannot find the back end of that GT86 as Barker upshifts the gear, hammers the throttle through the floor and across the line. Wow, that was a masterclass from Luke Barker.
I think that was that's for me, that's Luke stamping his authority on the championship. With a run like that in the lead position in the final, yeah, he's like literally on that line, right, I'm going. That's it.
They've turned that car up a little bit more again. They went back to the paddock, they let the tyres down, they turned it up a little bit more again because that car's got faster and faster.
And they know exactly what Hayden's got available with that car. And, yeah, let's see what happens on this second run of the battle of the final of round 3 of UK Drift Championship here at Teesside.
Well, there we go. They're back on the line, ready to go. It will be Crookshank to lead out Luke Barker. This is it, the final run of the day. Teesside, make some noise! That's more like it, Teesside. There we go. Thumbs up all round. Our judges are ready. I hope you guys at home are ready. I hope you're holding your drink steady because this one could get hairy. Can Barker control the beast that is Hayden Crookshank's 1,000 horsepower chaser? Through the chicane, down they come through the gears. Barker sits on the back bumper, looks for a big dive. He goes for a huge dive onto the door, waits to set himself up. Crookshank gets into it, but look at Crookshank absolutely destroyed by Luke Barker at the moment. Barker onto the door, waits for the transition, almost makes a massive error, but Barker holds himself collected in the back, gets himself back into the groove again as Barker sits on the door across the line. Teesside, give him a round of applause. Wow, what a day. What a drive from these guys.
Just wow.
And we just need to ask that one question one more time to our head judge, James, as he laughs at me, puts on his headset. James, do we have a decision?
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the podium. I'm going to leave it with you, Mark. You can thank
very
our
much.
sponsors. Thank you for being my co-host. It's been an absolute pleasure today. And there we go. These guys are going to make their way down towards the podium. So, ladies and gentlemen, as they drive past you, please give them a round of applause. Hayden Crookshank and Luke Barker. Mark, it's all yours. I'm going to the podium.
Yep, thank you very much, Ian. Yeah, an absolute epic event here at Teesside Autodrome. Like I said, a huge thank you for Teesside for hosting the event. And as we wait for the top 4 drivers to come down to the podium, which is just in front of here as a commentary, we must once again thank the sponsors that make this possible. ASNU Fuel Injectors, Driven Racing Oil. If you need some fluids for your car, make sure you get in touch with those guys. Cobo Seats, Steve to Steve at Cobo Seats, tell him that I sent you, and he will love that. So yeah, for all your safety equipment for your cars, your seats, your harnesses, toe strap, hands devices, etc. Funk Motorsport, when you need to keep those temperatures down, make sure you speak to the guys at Funk. Those are the guys that know what they're talking about to protect your lines and your turbos and bulkheads and all sorts of stuff with tape and all sorts. Fastar, our title sponsor, obviously a big thank you to those guys. Like I say, make sure you follow Fastar on their social media channels for motorsport content from across the world. And you are not going to see anything any better anywhere. Dorenza for all parts European, and including those MVT intercoolers, which are something else that you need to see them to keep your intake temps down, and various other parts along with lowering springs. Garage D, hashtag in stock. If you've got a Japanese car and need some parts, make sure you speak to Julian or Dara. And then finally, Hell Performance. Speak to Steve at Hell, and Steve will make sure that you have the correct lines, etc., brake lines and fuel lines for your car. As we see Bagsy in the Monster Energy PS13 with a huge rolling burnout as he lines his car up. Obviously, all our photographers down here. A big thank you to all our photographers. Make sure you check out those guys. You've got BZ Media, you've got some Kevin from Smoking Images, you've got Dan Martin Media down there as well. You've got Stuart Shield, and you've got Robert Borowick from everythingdrift.com, along with Lewis. And of course, a big thank you to CTRL for sorting out our live stream. So we've got the 4 guys down in front of the podium. We've got Hayden Crookshank in the Colour Sound Chaser. We've got Luke Barker in the Tarmac Sports GT86. We've got Bagsy in the Monster Energy PS13. And last but by no means least, your top qualifier in the Dream Car Giveaways S13 is Stefanov. And we'll just wait till all the drivers turn their vehicles off, so it's nice and quiet down there, and then we will get on with our award ceremony for round 3 of the UK Drift Championship here at Teesside Autodrome. I can see there the trophies on the podium, and Ian is down there with a microphone, and I'm just waiting for the cars to be turned off, and then I will hand over to Ian. So just give us a moment while we just get these cars knocked off. Right, I am going to hand it over to Ian as we just knock Bagsy's car off, so it's nice and quiet. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I will hand you over to Ian Waddington for the trophy ceremony. Over to you, Ian.
Thank you very much, Mark. And yeah, what an incredible day here at Teesside Autodrome. What an incredible weekend. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody here at Teesside for coming out, braving this incredible weather. Thank you to all the drivers, all the staff, everybody in the tower. What a weekend. But ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure, of course, to do the podium. What an incredible Final 4. These guys drove the absolute wheels off their cars. But before I give out the podium, I'm going to do what the judges call the hard charger, and that goes to a driver who has pushed 110%, and that hard charger is sponsored by Driven Racing Oils. And ladies and gentlemen, this weekend and today especially, the Driven Racing Oils hard charger goes to Justina Snorkas, ladies and gentlemen. Justina Snorkas, if you're around, make your way down onto the track, come and receive your Driven Racing Oils hard charger. What a drive. And that leads me to third step on the podium, and what an incredible drive again. They battled through tooth and nail. for taking third step on the podium, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for Steve Bagsy Biagioni. Make some noise for fourth place, Stefanov. What an incredible drive, your first place qualifier, but taking third step on the podium goes to Bagsy. So that just leaves 2 more spots. And well, it was an absolute masterclass, but I can confirm taking the win. Your championship leader. Make some noise for Luke Barker, ladies and gentlemen. Luke Barker takes the win, but give it up for second place, Hayden Crookshank. Ladies and gentlemen, from me, from all of the crew here at the UK Drift Championship, we are done and we are out. Join us back here in September for round 4. From everybody at the UKDC, we are out. Take care. Goodbye.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.